morning, good morning, good morning.
There goes the Daverhood.
And there was much rejoicing.
Didn't your meds kick in yet?
We got David Lefker that's here. He's a Long Island arts guy. He's got his own radio show.
I want you all to really enjoy a wonderful program done by a fine artist.
A glorious thing of unparalleled beauty.
Dave's gone by. Dave is one of my very favorite broadcasters, so keep on listening to Mr. Dave.
Yes, there goes the Daverhood. Good morning, everybody. Welcome live on this Saturday morning, December 6th, 2025, to the 1010th episode of the Dave's Gone By Facebookio, Podcastio, Programmio of the stream with me, Dave Lefkowitz. All of you watching at home, Mrs. might or might not join us depending on how her grading is going. It's that time of the year and semester. But either way, we've got a fun program for ya on this Saturday AM, just like we do every Saturday morning and have been. I mean, it wasn't always on Saturdays, and it wasn't always 3 hours, but mixing humor and talk and interviews and culture and all the stuff that we do and have previously done 1,009 times. So, thrilled to have you here. What are we going to do on this episode of the show, I Hear You Ask? I'll wait. Oh, okay, thank you for asking. So on this episode of the Dave's Gone By show, first of all, as we always do, we have a Colorado Limerick of the Damned. And this is a poem that I write and dedicate to a different place in the lovely state of Colorado, where my wife and I used to live for well over a decade a few years ago. So I got it into my head to look at a map or look at a list of all these places in Colorado and write a poem about as many that I could rhyme 3 times within a 5-line verse, and have been doing that for many years now, and have something in the realm of 320 or 330 of them done. I think maybe the idea is to get 360 and have a daily calendar, but the problem is it ought to have a photo of every one of these places, and some of these places have been ghost towns since 1908. And there's really, you can't even get a picture on the internet even if you wanted to pay for the rights to use it. There's just like a drawn map with a dot saying, well, this is where this used to kind of be. It's like, thanks so much. But, I don't know, I do love these poems. They're ribald, they're risque, they're gross, they're supposed to be amusing because that's what limericks are supposed to do. There are Colorado Limericks of the Damned, and this week's we go to, and I'll bet you didn't know this existed, Chattanooga, Colorado. No, I know you're chewing that one over, but it's Chattanooga, Colorado. And we have a limerick of the damned for you about that particular place. Also, on this episode of the program, speaking of Colorado, the Greeley Tribune newspaper, which has been around for well over 100 years and is still going, daily on the interwebs. I think 3 or 4 times a week. It's still published hard copy. It's the local paper of the city of Greeley in northern Colorado. And for many years now, they've had a column called Cop Log. And all this is there's a dispatcher, of course, at the local police force. And the dispatcher takes every phone call that comes in. And a lot of the phone calls are really serious. Oh my God, I've been stabbed. Oh, there's a terrible car accident. But others are like, my neighbor's horse just pooped over my fence again. Seriously. And this can be a headline in this column in the Greeley Tribune. They take the funniest, most ridiculous, weirdest, goofiest phone calls that come into the police department. And every week they put them in a column, stripping all the identifiers out, because I guess the information is public, but the names aren't, and create Cop Log, and we take the funniest ones of those and create our segment called Greeley Times, which we have so much fun doing every week. And we have more Greeley Times for you today on this 1010th episode. Also on the program, we are going to have a visit, actually 2 visits, from the one, the only, the Jewish Rabbi Sol Solomon. Sol has been with us since our very first episode all those years ago, and he's back doing two things. First of all, I know, we're jumping the gun. It's more than a week before the beginning of the Hanukkah holiday, but there are so many books, basically children's books, about the happy Jewish holiday of Hanukkah, that Rabbi Sol wanted to get an early start and wanted to share a story time with you, with me, with all of us, where he will read a Hanukkah-related book and comment on it, as is his wont, and he wants to. So this week's Hanukkah book is going to be way too many Latkes, a Hanukkah in Chelm, and if you know anything about Chelm, you must be Jewish. But Linda Glaser, illustrated by Alexander Zolotic, looks kind of fun. So Rabbi Sol is going to share this book with you on our segment called Storytime. But Rabbi Sol has a more important activity that he's doing this particular episode of the Dave's Gone By show. He's getting to interview a guest, as he often does. He's been interviewing most of our guests for the past decade and a half. But he, and this one is really cool because he gets to talk to a fellow interviewer. Some of our very best guests on the show for, my Wawa cup. Some of our very best guests on the show have been people who make their living, or at one point made their living, talking to other people, whether it's been journalists or some of the critics, not so much, but interviewers, TV and radio people. They have stories, right? They've talked to celebrities. They might have been on stage. They've seen things going on, dealt with audiences. So they have a life. They have a life in media. It's innately interesting, at least to me. So we have another one, and we've got a very, very cool and major veteran of the TV interviewer and host life. His name is Bill Boggs, and very interesting career that he's had. One wouldn't necessarily think of him as being, comedy related, because we know him as kind of this good-looking midday talk show host back on WNEW TV in the day, and he also hosted a couple of shows on the Food Network for a while. So I think of him as this personable, jovial MC host, but actually got his teeth into comedy first. He was the manager of Patchett and Tarsus, who were a comedy team, and then went on to have great success writing for TV. And then he went off on his own and started to just get success in radio and TV and doing what he does. Well, he is I think he does a podcast, but is mostly past the point of doing media that way. He's become a writer, and he's written 4 books already, including the most recent from a year or two ago, a sequel to his series about Spike the Wonder Dog. Not a children's book, not that kind of thing. It's a satirical, somewhat dark but goofy look at media, at TV, and the people who make it and run it and stuff like that. And it's from a dog's, Spike's, perspective. So we're going to talk to, or Rabbi Sol is going to talk to Bill Boggs about Spike the Wonder Dog and about his years doing tons and tons and tons of TV hosting and interviews. And what else has gone on? He's lived quite a life, and he's not through with it yet. Bill Boggs joining us in the Daverhood on Dave's Gone By. We might do a bunion watch. This is where you get to look at the size, shape, condition, and color of my bunions, because I actually had some bunion trouble this week. We've been doing this segment for 3.5 years. Never really had an issue except for like a shoe that was rubbing me wrong. And then this week, I think I came down wrong on something, or I stepped the wrong way in the gym, or whatever it was, but it just went woo. So we're going to look at my bunion and see whether it's been fractured, cracked, or just grumpy. And I will share that with you. I'm going to make a check mark next to my list. Here's my list. Bunion watch. Check. And if there's time, I might even do Dave's Big Dick Dictionary, where I have to come up with something to speak about a random word. It's like, see the word, think about it a little bit, no planning, no writing, no nothing, just see the word, whatever sparks into my head, go. Improv extemporaneously, and trying to be amusing and funny and all that. So there's quite a bit to do on this episode, our 1010th episode of Dave's Gone By, on this Saturday, December 6th, 2025. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to ya. So before we get to all of that, some things I want to talk about. We don't often do the Inside Broadway segment here on Dave's Gone By ever since we moved to Maryland, or all the years I was in Colorado. When I would go back to New York and see a bunch of theater over the course of a week, I'd come back, I'd review the shows and do Inside Broadway. I still do that when, I hit New York and see a show or two coming here from Maryland. But, especially during the semester, have not gone back as frequently as we were earlier in the year. But I still love theater. One of the criticisms I took for many years on the show was I spent too much of what is supposed to be an omnibus for everybody program talking about theater in sort of an inside-y way. I was like, I went to see this show, and it reminded me of this, and this is the author. And it was just like, a lot of people. And who knew? Who knew? Once I stepped out of the New York theater criticism, Playbill.com, StageBuddy.com bubble, not a lot of people really give that much of a crap about Broadway, except those who once a year scrape up every penny they have, and then come in and spend $300 to see, Hugh Jackman, or to see Keanu Reeves, or to see Wicked or something. So, it's not that I've tabled Inside Broadway, but for various reasons, I do it less frequently. But I'm a theater guy. And a couple of theater things. First of all, gotta love it. Gotta love the way that you get your hopes up, and then like you say, oh, I think I'm going to take a shot. Why not? It'll take me a couple of minutes. It's worth it. I'll do it, and then so I get an email from a blanket, not direct, just a blanket CC'd email from this theater company. Or I think it was maybe it was posted on Facebook or something, where we're looking for one-act plays, submit, please, and these are the parameters. They can't be more than, half an hour long. They can't right. And I'm looking at my plays and seeing which ones might fit these parameters. And the thing is, once, please send yours in, anybody who's reading this email, feel free to send in. There's no entry fee, which is lovely. There's just, make sure you send it, make sure you PDF it, make sure it's a cover letter, make sure the front page doesn't have your name on, all these things that they do. Fine. And make sure that you're among the first 150 entrants in this play contest, right? So I'm like, oh, all right. So I get this email that afternoon. I find the play that I want, I save it in the right format, I upload with a letter, thank you very much, PDF, out it goes. And I'm thinking, likelihood of winning, I've gotten some honorable mentions in my time. But some people will read it, they'll like it, whatever. Maybe it'll be in the top 10 somewhere. The hopes of it actually being number one or getting done, at this point, I don't even think about it much. But the hope is there. It's like, ooh, I'm getting a play in the hopper again. I feel like a playwright again. Let's do this. Next day, letter in my email saying, thank you for your submission. Unfortunately, you are not among the top 150 entrants to this contest, or to this play staging thing. It wasn't that my play was not even as good as the other 100. They're not even going to read it. They got God knows how many, probably 300-400 entries, and they all just piled up from whenever the first call went out to, by the time a couple of hours later that I sent mine in. I was like, there's that many people. I guess this is a good thing, but writing short plays and having that hope And I think there's only one play per person. So it's not like you can have one person sending in 50 different plays. It's just like one play per contestant per entry. And somehow, at least 150 people sent in their one-act plays before I did, within the matter of a couple of hours. And so instead of being like, the usual rejection letter of thank you, we really enjoyed your play, but if we could produce 500 plays, yours would be one. No, just not even that. Just like, whoops, too late. You are not the early bird. You don't get the worm, which, by the way, the worm is, I think, pocket change and a staged reading. I mean, I've been talking about some kind of amazing grand prize or 3 weeks off Broadway as part of a one-act. No, just it's nothing. And 150 people, at least, got there before I did. And it's almost like, I guess, back in the day, or maybe still, you would go in the 80s and 90s and try and buy tickets for a major concert, like some artist that you really, really love, but is also incredibly popular, right? And you wait for telecharge, or wait for Ticketron, or you get on those lines of the places that sell tickets in person, right? And by the time you be online for hours, and everything was already gone, because these many blocks of tickets have been reserved for radio stations, and these were held over for this, and this went to corporate, and this was, and then you have all these other people, and people tying up the phone lines, and of course, the folks would buy a bunch of tickets and then resell them, scalpers. So it became like this losing proposition. You could be the early bird and still go wormless, right? So, that's my one theater story for today. And the other, also a sad day for a lot of theater people, is that we did lose Tom Stoppard a couple of days ago. Someone who's considered one of our best, I was going to say living playwrights, one of our best recently living playwrights, passed at the age of 88. And Stoppard was absolutely major. He's one of those people where most of his plays I did not like, but I do respect the intelligence and the mind behind them. Most of his plays I did not like because I just don't have the brain to comprehend them. Even reading them and then seeing them, or seeing them more than once, I'm just like it's just sort of brain fog. There's people who lock into Stoppardian's wit and rhythms and interlocking stories and things and go, oh my God, he's the best ever. And I'm just like, oh, that's a good scene. And then, so I felt that way about almost everything I've seen or read of stuff. I mean, I know it's an obituary. I shouldn't be talking crap, right? But Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. Never. Nah. I mean, we had to read that one in high school, and I was just lost. What else? And the only two undeniably positive experiences with Stoppard's work. One of which was seeing the original Broadway, The Real Thing. Pretty good play, and it was. I thought I had seen Stoppard, and I thought I had seen Jeremy Irons and Glenn Close. I might have seen Jeremy Irons and another actor, but I think I saw the original too. And there was something about their chemistry, something about Jeremy Irons. I don't know if I had a boy crush on him or something like that, but something about the way he spoke, carried himself, turned out Stoppard's witty dialogue. But I wanted to be Jeremy Irons, 5'2", Jewish. I was in middle age, so that was my 20s. I was like, why cannot I be him? And I never could. And really enjoyed the play. It was one of the early times I was going to the theater. I wasn't even a critic yet. I was just soaking theater in. And it was a wonderful experience and had a great time with. I saw a revival of The Real Thing years later, and it was terrible. Broadway revival. And it just did absolutely just sat there and flatlined. And I realized the play is better than this, which is kind of different from me for Stoppard than usual, where he gets a top-notch production and I'm just sitting through the play. The other really, really good Stoppard time, I have to say, in terms of theater, it would be a play that people aren't really talking about that much, but it's Rock and Roll, where he went back to his Czechoslovakian roots and set it within the Prague Spring, and what it was like in that weird, hazy balance between incredible Soviet oppression and some level of freedom, except there really wasn't. And it was good storytelling, and he also mixed it in with some stuff about Syd Barrett and Pink Floyd. But overall, the play was captivating, gripping, good story. Glad I saw it. I will gladly see it again. Those are my two favorite Stoppard experiences. I did not get to see Leopoldstadt. I guess it's his last play that he did a year or two ago on Broadway. I wish I had. And then just a bunch of the others that have garnered so much acclaim. Arcadia leaves me cold. I saw 2 Broadway stagings of it. I just did not get involved in the love story, the comedy, the tragedy, just like, meh. Coast of Utopia was this drudge for over 2 nights, like 3 hours a night. This whole, again, some good scenes and a lot of stuff. I'm like, okay, this will be over. It's some good acting, okay, and right. The Invention of Love, which bored the absolute pants off me. Jumpers, where I mean, just, sorry, Tom. Play after play after play after play, mostly just leaving me out in the woods, in the thicket of like realizing that there's a mastermind at work here, but just, no lifeline for me to sort of pull myself in and go, I did see, this wasn't bad, I did see a play called Indian Ink that I got to see in London, right? That was with Felicity Kendall, who you might remember from Rosemary and Thyme and a bunch of British sitcoms. That was good. I really did get great advice from a guy named Ernie Shear, who was one of the coordinators of the National Critics Institute at the O'Neill Center in Connecticut. And he said, Dave, you're going to London? Great. See this, do this. Oh, you're going to see Tom Stoppard play? Any Tom Stoppard? Read it first. Read the script, then go see it. You'll be a much happier. And he was right. It allowed me to have the characters in my head, to kind of know what was going on and not get lost in things. And that did help. But I tried it with some other Stoppard plays and it didn't really help. So anyway, a mixed but absolutely admiring and fond farewell to Tom Stoppard. And if you think you don't know who he is, if you think you may have never seen a Tom Stoppard play, you might have seen the movie that he wrote called Shakespeare in Love, where he really did bring everything together in a way that was accessible, in a way that allowed him to use his genius, to use his wit, his high-level stuff, to his plotting and all that, to a thing that was some dim bulb like me could enjoy it and understand it, as could general audiences. I think the picture even won an Oscar. So big, sad farewell to Tom Stoppard, legendary theater playwright and practitioner, and also moving away from Broadway and theater. Got to say a farewell to Steve Cropper, who passed. I think he was 87 or so. Oh, what do you need? My darling and adorable wife is here. What does? Oh, yeah. Here's mine. Okay. Steve Cropper, who you've heard his music. He not only was one of the major people in Booker T and the MGs, the guys who did Green Onions, but he doesn't need to do it in all his entire life. Sometimes you just need one thing. And he co-wrote the Otis Redding classic, Otis Redding's last classic, Dock of the Bay. Steve Cropper could go up for any job in the music industry. He doesn't, I taught 8 years at Harvard in music theory and physics. That's great. You co-wrote Dock of the Bay? It's like one-line CV. You're in. It's the headstone CV. Co-wrote Dock of the Bay. And of course he'll find guitarist and was the Otis Redding guitarist. What man? This is from one of the press agents I know. That's... No, this is freaking weird. Okay.
You were saying the name.
This was posted 2 days ago, right? By he's on my Facebook feed, a press agent named Adrian Brian Brown, one of the major press agents in New York for the past 30-something years. And I guess he was the rep. His name, Boma Brian Brown, was the press agency promoting Tom Stoppard's play when it was on Broadway. He posted Tuesday, and this literally just came up on my Facebook feed. Not just something about Tom Stoppard, but about the play I was just talking about, Rock and Roll. Apparently he put out a CD because it had to do.
On your Facebook to make sure you were live, and that's what the first thing I saw. And you were saying Tom Stoppard, and I saw the name.
But Rock and Roll,
I
know my Wawa cup fell. But among the song, one of the nice things about the show, it was set in the 1960s in Prague during the Velvet Revolution. So there were interstitial pieces of music from Dylan, the Stones, the Velvet Underground, the Doors, Syd Barrett, of course, Beach Boys, John Lennon, Guns N' Roses. A little early, but anyway, it's this CD that Adrian put together. Thank you, dear. Thank you for noticing that. Anywho, when I say dear, I'm talking about my darling and adorable and wonderful wife, who is going to be joining me for parts of the show today. And so I've told the folks what's happening on this program. We've got oh, sorry.
Your guest, I want to see this.
Oh, our guest is going to be Bill Boggs, being interviewed by Rabbi Sol Solomon. You remember Bill Boggs?
No, because you mentioned him last time. I thought you interviewed him. He's famous.
Well, yeah, especially in the New York metro area, but he's also been on Food Network. And now he's a writer, and he's got a couple of books about Spike the Wonder Dog, which is poking fun at the TV and media industry. So Rabbi Sol talking to Bill Boggs. We'll also have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned for Chattanooga, Colorado. We will probably do Bunyon Watch. I have 2 check marks. I'm going to add a 3rd check mark that we have to do Bunyon Watch today because my bunion hurt me this week. Because it's all about me. And then Greeley Times, we mentioned that. Phone calls that came into the Greeley Police Department, and maybe even Dave's Big Dick Shenary, where I talk about a word. And story time with Rabbi Sol Solomon, reading not just many latkes, not just too many latkes, but way too many latkes. A Hanukkah story, albeit more than a week before Hanukkah. We're getting into the spirit early, getting into the groove now that it's really, all the places are having holiday parties. Thanksgiving's over, so everybody's mind, well, the minds of all the goyim are on Christmas.
I'm going to go to IKEA later.
Yeah. This is from a friend of the Daverhood, actually. This is what they call an IKEA Christmas tree. Wow. It's like Christmas AstroTurf. I think that works. I think it's a rather nice thing to have. It's very festive.
You can go to your IKEA friends and get it.
Oh.
Are we going to go to the craft show later?
Well, yeah, we have the craft. We won't say where, but we have a local, I think 2 different craft shows. We've got one at our church, and there's another one at the library. This is a big day.
I think.
Now, speaking of going places, I'm glad you're here for this. I went for the very first time in my life, ever. I'm 61 years old, right? Have never been to.
Oh, yes.
A Wawa.
I know. It was very sad for you.
Never been to a Wawa. People have bucket lists, and mine is very, very circumscribed and constricted. I don't have the guts to try skiing or snowboarding or skydiving. Maybe sky. I'm not cut out for that. I'm guessing I'll try pot at some point, but I wouldn't really want to do any other drugs. My bucket list, like, there are places I want to go, travel to. Those are on my list. Okay.
Wasn't Wawa on your bucket list?
Wawa's on my bucket list, as is the Southern chain Piggly Wiggly. I'm kind of avoiding going to a Piggly Wiggly, not only because there's none remotely near us.
Piggly Wiggly with Wendy Higby.
You went to?
A Piggly Wiggly in Colorado, or when we were driving in from Colorado.
How was it?
It's between like a Stop and Shop, a Giant, and a Wawa.
Oh, so it's really more supermarket-ish.
It's a supermarket, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any amazing memories?
No, it was just
No?
we were late at night and we needed food and we ate in the parking lot.
Okay, but were there pigs?
No, it's just like a supermarket. It's a chain. Someone had a fun name for a supermarket.
Did like when you checked out and you brought the food, did the people at the counter wiggle?
They scanned the food over the scanner.
So their hands wiggled?
When they did like this, yeah.
See, I want to see this. I'm afraid of going to Piggly Wiggly if we actually do see one, because it's so high on my bucket list.
I think you might be disappointed.
Really? I hope, because after a Piggly Wiggly, I could die. I could die happy, because I've done this. You know, I've had a play produced, right? People read my writing. I've done a podcast. I've been on stage in the theater. Right? I've gotten a college degree. I've gotten married to a wonderful woman. All bucket list things. Going to a Piggly Wiggly. If I cross that one off the list, very few other things are so high up that needs to be. But one of them in the middle of the list was Wawa.
When you're traveling, well, they had, what do they have? Peppermint, not peppermint. What's the thing called?
Was it butter? No, it was.
Pistachio.
Oh, pistachio
You
coffee.
want your butterscotch drink?
Later, I'm not gonna. I'll end up burping through the whole, which I do anyway. But so we went to we have a Wawa within about 2 miles, 3 miles from where we live, and we've lived here 3.5 years, and have never stopped into the Wawa. And then it was my wife's idea. It wasn't even mine. She was like, "Oh, for God's sake, let's just go to a Wawa." I was like, "Can we? May we? Please?" And she was like, "Yes, Dave, today's the day."
I love Wawa.
You do? Why you would love it?
Because I loved it in Philly. I liked it a lot. It was nice. The people were nice in Philly. I knew them. They were around the corner from me. They were my neighborhood store.
So it was more about the people. Because to me, it's like 7-Eleven. It's like, okay, it's yeah.
It was like a neighborhood store, and it was like a Philly bodega. I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't dislike it, but I went in expecting glorious Wawa-ness, right? I expected it to be Wawa wonderful. And it was fine. It was perfectly fine. Well, it was a 7-Eleven-ish store, had all these different coffees, and that was very cool to see. It was like nice in the morning, and had it been any later in the day, they do have the wieners, the spinny wieners on the iron rollers that nobody should ever ingest, but I enjoy them immensely when I get them. But it was too early. It was like 10 o'clock in the morning. I was like, better not. But they have little breakfast sandwiches. I would have tried one of those had I not already had breakfast before earlier in the morning. And had a very nice pistachio coffee. These places, even the 7-Elevens, even the McDonald's, you can get a decent cup of coffee for a reasonable price. And I like that. And I like that you can go. Does Wawa, is it connected to gas pumps or?
I don't know. It's like they seem to be like 7-Eleven-y.
Yeah. And here they are. Now, understand they did not have, in this particular Wawa, and this was about a week and a half ago, a sleigh. There were not geese in this. So this is sort of false advertising. This is the coffee cup I was. There was nobody skiing or sledding. People, I think one or two people were wearing gloves. So this is true.
Well, that we saw. We didn't stay that long. Maybe if we stayed in nighttime, Wawa might be different than daytime.
You know, they had this. They had a croissant. I'm pretty sure they had one of these. So
when
that.
When I went, so when we were there, they just had the donuts in a case. Now they have them individually wrapped. They've upgraded.
Wow. I think we know why it's like the sneeze guard at salad bars. We know why they do. This, I don't know why they weren't giving haircuts at this Wawa, so I have no idea why there'd be this barber pole.
There's actually a third thing we could do, but I don't know where it is. It's the ceramics show you can buy ceramics at the school. In the arts building where the theater
We'll find out where it is.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, at the school where we.
Yeah, but I don't know where to park. Like, that's it. I don't know how to get there. I walked there once with somebody and they walked to me. It was like complicated.
But it's Shabbos. We can park. I'm sure there'll be tons of parking in close places. We'll figure it out. Easy peasy.
Oh, well, you look at that thing.
So I have been to a Wawa, ladies and gentlemen. So Piggly Wiggly is still up there on the list. And unless we go down... But wait, you said it was in Colorado.
No, Philly.
Oh, Philly. So, Philly!
Piggly Wiggly was in...
We're only like an hour and a half from Philly. Less on Amtrak.
But no, Piggly Wiggly, that's that...
We have to go. We have to go.
That was just... Piggly Wiggly was in Colorado.
Oh, it was in Colorado. Okay.
So I'm going to show you this.
Yeah.
Don't say it out loud.
All right.
But I want to see the hours.
Don't cry out loud. Keep it inside. Swallow your phlegm. All right, listen, yes?
Don't read it. It goes to the art school, so that's for
Oh,
you
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah, but you could. So we could do the one at the library is till 3. We could do the library, that one.
We'll organize our time so we get to hit all three things, yeah. I just hope there's food at one of them, because Davey likes his food.
This is ceramics, drawings, jewelry.
There you go.
Yeah, it shows you how to get there. I'm gonna see.
Although, when I was a child, we all protested against Soviet jewelry. But, well, no, not against jewelry. I blew the joke. It happens. Anyway, I'm Dave Lefkowitz. That's my wonderful wife. That's all of you. You're watching the 1010th episode of the Dave's Gone By Facebookio Podcastio Programmio of the stream.
Oh, I know.
So, by the way, remember please that you can find out more about this program by going to davesgoneby.com. DAVESGONEBY. Davesgoneby.com. Not only do we have photos of me and aspects of the show, not only do we have a list of everything that we've ever done on the program, but our entire archives.
Pop-up at the library, the art pop-up.
Yeah.
It says that's only till
When?
3. So the school one is till 5. This one is till
3.
3.
Yeah, but we should be out of here by 12:30, so we'll have plenty of...
You could eat cheese stick. What's the
There are 3 things. There's a ceramic...
the other one, okay.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. But davesgoneby.com, all our radio shows, listenable for free at the website. All our video podcasts for the past 7 or so years archived here on davesgoneby.com. So that is your first stop for all things of the Daverhood. We also archive all our material.
So they're till 2:30.
Who's the earliest closer?
Methodist is 2:30, but I think we'll go to the library and Methodist and then school.
Yeah.
One school.
Yeah, well, obviously the one that's open until 5 we do last. Yeah, that works out fantastically. So archive.org, archive.org, excuse me, we have a channel there where it's basically the same material we have on davesgoneby.com. We just like to have it in a separate place in case either website goes down. So archive.org is this monster repository of art, literature, culture, humor, radio shows, TV shows in the public domain or with permission from the past thousands of years. There's billions and billions of pages on this site, and we have our own channel where all our episodes and all our interviews separately reside, archive.org. Plus, you can find our audio archives, just the audio of all our shows, at castbox.fm, which is really helpful. It's a great place for podcast. If you want to listen on the go, if you're at the gym, if you're at the James, if you're at the William, go to castbox.fm, and you can just download this, our shows as a podcast. I'm Dave, by the way, in case you've forgotten. Dave is the name. So what else do we talk about before we get to Greeley Times?
I don't know what you put on your list. I'm half asleep.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
I just want to see that you're live. That's what
Oh, please do, because I didn't die overnight, so I should be live.
Did you talk about the Supermoon?
No! We saw it!
It's the Gemini.
Here we go.
It's the Gemini moon, which I like.
Got a cold moon rising. See breakthrough of the final full moon of 2025. It rose on December 4th, just 2 days ago. Because you could, if you looked up in the sky, you saw that friggin'
I
moon.
think it's going to be full for a bit.
Well, isn't it just full for one day? Like almost full, little less than almost full.
I don't know.
So it was called the Cold Moon. Stars of the constellation Taurus on December 4th. So it was a third in a string of quote-unquote supermoons. Supermoon. Full moons that occur when the moon reaches its closest point to Earth in its monthly orbit.
I thought it was the Gemini moon. No?
Well, maybe that could be another name for it. Or, so I'm going to look up Gemini, or you look up Gemini moon.
Find that. I thought that was the name of it, yeah.
Because astronomy, I always wanted to be interested in it, and I could never, it was cool in the planetarium, but, trying to pick out the star, the North Star Polaris, the trough, I'm like, meh. It should be fascinating. It is fascinating to a lot of people, but I don't know, I like looking at stars. I like looking at the moon. I like looking at the sun, which is why I have to wear these now. But what is a Gemini moon? My wife is looking it up on the phone as we speak. Okay, so thank you. In 2025, there were significant Gemini moon events. One happened on May 26th. Well, what the hell is it? Clarity choices. Oh, this is astrology.
No, it goes to the next one. December, it says too.
What the full moon in Gemini this December means for you. Oh, this is from the Yoga Journal. Here we go. So it's a bit of a stretch. Let's see, here we go. The full moon, final full moon, brings Gemini's quicksilver energy to help us close out the year. This is the second person to mention clarity and renewed perspective. If I tell you, the full moon was 2 days ago, December 4th, right? And granted, I do this every semester, but the last thing I tell my students in my English class before they present, I have a slide with a pair of glasses, and it says, and I tell them, if you remember nothing else from this course,
Oh, I like that. Be clear.
this is the most important word in writing, for at least nonfiction writing, clarity. And then I do this cute thing because I'm so funny. The next slide is the word clarity over and over and over and over and over again. I just read it, clarity, 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 clarity. And then I do the stand-up sticky comic thing of like clarity, 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 clarity. Read like 10 times off the slide. Then I make like I'm walking back to the computer to change the slide deck. And then I'm like, oh. And then I go, clarity. And everybody laughs uproariously because I'm so freaking hilarious. But seriously, that is the last word of my course. It's telling everybody, be clear. If nothing else in your writing, don't worry about big words. Don't worry about, even though we talk a lot of metaphors and similes and using figures of speech and having fun and ethos, pathos, logos, chiron, be clear. And that's 80% of the ball game right there. And so clarity. And I was telling this on the clarity of a Gemini moon, which I'm still not sure. I guess it's a special kind of moon when the moon is in Gemini or something. Okay. So, anywho, so there was that this week. So, Wawa, moon. In terms of food, we had pho, which was very nice. You had the pho soup. I had my banh mi sandwich, which was very, very nice at our local.
I haven't tried the French fries and the Coke. They're saying for migraines because it's salt and sugar.
Maybe one of the things we're going through today, they'll actually have, Coke and fries and.
I'm okay now.
Oh, good. Oh, good. What else we got? And we did go back to Mission Barbecue.
Oh, you did, yeah.
Last weekend, Mission Barbecue, there it is. Not doing a commercial for them, just saying that they brought back a steak black plate special. About time. Okay. So they changed the black plate special, which I think had been chicken wings. And now they brought in a new one. It isn't one of the usuals. They do a strip steak Black plate, yeah.
Black plate special Mission barbecue. Normally it comes up in your feed.
And a lot of people posted their disappointment, not so much with the steak itself, but they were expecting prime rib. Because the best thing that Mission Barbecue does is about once or twice a year, they'll do for a couple of weeks a prime rib. Very, delicious and reasonably priced, which is kind of the point of Mission Barbecue. Smoked, here it is. Thank you.
They did give you a free side, right?
Well, I had a coupon. I had a thing for Thanksgiving. They said, thank you. We're thankful for you. Have some cream corn. Did not try the bread pudding.
No, I think they said whatever, a free side, and you picked that one. I think they gave you an option.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I think I went with the cream corn, which was really good. It's sort of like I've been trying to lose a little bit of weight, been walking, going to the gym, trying to drink less bad things. But I had this thing of cream corn. I gained 10 pounds instantly. It was like all my good work, all my diligence, all my.
I think you look thinner.
Well, thank you. I may have lost like a quarter pound or something, which hey, better than gaining. So I'm happy about that. But anyway, thank you to Mission Barbecue for having steak again. And it was good. I begged, I said, please, rare, medium rare. It was basically well done, but it was still good. Still really, really tasty. So yay. They've completed their mission and filled my stomach with something decent. What else do we talk about before we get to Greeley Times? Bill Boggs.
I don't know what you had on your list. I don't know.
Well, let's do Greeley Times because we're here, and then Bill Boggs, and then Rabbi Sol will do it. Oh, whenever he's.
Oh, ready.
Yeah. Whenever we're done with Greeley Times, we can.
You talked about the cream corn.
I did, and yes, we didn't have the bread pudding. No, it flips. It automatically scrolls.
I didn't know that.
So, yes.
Oh, you want the thing here?
Oh my God, it's Greeley Times. This is based on.
Oh no, there's a neurovirus. Did you read this?
No, please.
Oh God. Those poor people.
So this is not MRSA. This is something.
I feel bad. Like that makes you poo-poo and vomit. Like
Yeah.
here.
Well, then again, so does Michael Bolton music. But here we go. Norovirus outbreak sicking summer.
Look how many people.
Oh, it's a cruise ship thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this. I mean, I don't
Remember
know.
the last one we saw where we watched? It was like the poop. Cruise.
The Pope Cruise, yes.
They were all running for bathrooms. This is a repeat, but it seems worse. It's 100 people out of 131
Yeah.
or something.
Well, the other one was bad because there was a blackout and the toilets wouldn't flush and there was nothing working. That's worse. This one, at least, norovirus outbreak sickens over 100 passengers and crew during 130. Would you want to be on a cruise for 133 days?
Probably like go around the world.
I guess you get off for a
week.
week.
They go off land and they go on hotels and they come back.
Actually, you know what? If I had the money and the time, I would.
Well, you get free neurovirus.
Let's see. I'm just trying to see if there's more information. It stopped in America, England, Mexico, Japan, South Africa, and more. How many shots?
Apparently not enough.
Oh, it's Carnival. Of course it's Carnival. Based in Germany, shipped departed from Hamburg, and reported on November 30th after it stopped in Boston. Well, there we go. Probably just when we were there.
Good food in Boston. We didn't get any.
No, thank God. But we didn't interact with any of these passengers.
How do we know? We don't know that.
Oh. They reported being ill. 95 passengers ill, 6 crew members. Predominant symptoms include diarrhea and vomiting, with the causative agent being noro. So, they consulted with the CDC. They isolated the ill passengers. Amazing. ADA Cruises did not have a comment. To People magazine.
That's just scary.
Well, it's awful. It can happen. You can put a bunch of people in a hotel and they can get Legionnaire's disease.
Since the beginning of 2025, the CDC reports 21 neurovirus outbreaks on cruises.
Why?
We have to ask our neighbors. They cruise a lot if they ever got infected.
Yeah. Well, didn't one time his wife get something? Oh, COVID. Well, that makes sense too. But yeah. But how come it's always noro? Why doesn't everybody get leprosy and pass that on?
Why do people get neurovirus on cruises so often. Crowded, closed environment.
Well, duh.
And shared surfaces, food, water, air.
Shared surfaces.
And they don't, it's hard to disinfect fast enough to clean it. And people mixing in so many places, buffets, they're mixing in bathrooms, they're mixing, there's too much, like it's a closed environment.
Yeah, I was just wondering why not Hanta, why not
It says
flu?
close quarters, highly contagious nature.
Oh, that too.
It spreads through vomit, fecal particles, surfaces, food or water. So if it gets on like anything and somebody touches it,
Wow.
Environmental persistence.
But noro doesn't sound fatal. It doesn't. I mean, unless you dehydrate from diarrhea, and
it says frequent hand washing.
It's a good thing.
And go to buffet early. Like I guess less people touch it.
Right. I used to love buffets, but still do actually.
We like the Indian buffet, but
oh God, yes. But anywho, so that's our norovirus story of the day about cruise ships. Because there was a documentary about the poop cruise, as my wife was mentioning before. But oh my God, we're on to Greeley Times. We had our first piece of news that was not from Greeley, Colorado. This one is, ladies and gentlemen, courtesy of the Greeley Tribune and the Greeley Evans Police Department. A caller. Oh, I'll do the poo phone. Appropriate for norovirus. Yeah, where are you? Oh, an apartment complex on 16th Street said her neighbors have been very disrespectful to her. So she wanted to report them to ICE. That's where we are as a country now. It's like they're not American born, and they kind of flip me off. So let me just sick America on them and put them over the border or just ruin their week and until they produce their papers. Unbelievable. That's just like, I'm going to report you to ICE. It's like, Jesus Christ, what a country. What a country. Let's see, do we have another? The goat phone is lighting up. Yes, indeed. A Greeley police officer on 10th Street said someone threw a gas bottle and eggs at his patrol vehicle. Yes, nice to know they respect law enforcement. What is a gas bottle?
It's like probably like a Molotov cocktail. You probably put gas in a bottle and light it.
Oh, maybe.
That's what they do. That's a Molotov.
Well, so sister, if you throw that at a law enforcement officer, they shouldn't just be complaining. He should be tracking you down.
Hopefully it's not lit, yeah.
By the way, we have some Hamish humor.
I'm going to go get my second tambourine.
Polish family here. Where could the menorah be? Where, oh where can it be? It's not chametz, ladies and gentlemen. It's different. It's a different holiday. Not sure why you're searching for it, but I guess I was kind of a Jewish thing. Anywho, you're watching Dave's Gone By. It's not even 10 o'clock yet. So I was going to say it's almost 10 o'clock. But reminding you that we're on every Saturday from 9 until noonish or thereabouts, right here on this Facebook page. Our website is davesgoneby.com. Also, if you want to read my stuff, I was talking before about the one-act play I submitted. And if you want to read it, and all my one-act plays and other plays, go to davelefkowitz.org. davelefkowitz.org is the place where all my writing is, my articles, song lyrics, short comical essays, a world of Daveness in not pen and paper, writing, on screen, thing, read, it, printed, boom. So that's there, as opposed to davesgoneby.com, which is for the show. Anyway, I think we have another phone call. Let me get the mug cup phone. A caller on H Street said that his brother moved into his home after being recently released from jail. The brother started bothering him, so the caller wanted his brother put back in jail. There's a family for you. There's like, I'll take you in, bro. It's like, really? Really, you're playing loud music at 1 o'clock in the morning? Yeah, let's have him rearrested while he's on parole. That's nice. There's a family that sticks together, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see, do we have another? Ooh. Here's my Bell telephone. A caller at an unknown address saw a 16-year-old riding on the roof of a car going 20 to 30 miles an hour. The kid was thrown off when the driver took a sharp turn. And this is one of those, though, where, like, there's no follow-up. It's like, no word on whether the kid broke something, sprained something, was perfectly fine, ran back to the car and jumped on the roof again. Just like, oh, we don't ride this. And so, fun times in Greeley, Colorado. Another call, oh my goodness. It's ringing off the hook, my friends. Here's my Wawa phone. Hello? Ooh. Oh, it's almost like a seashore. A caller at a coffee shop on 16th Street said, a, quote, very polite man had been at the store for the past 2 days and kept falling asleep. That's it. They called the cops on this guy who was really, really nice and sweet and polite. He goes to the coffee shop and falls asleep. First of all,
they probably worry if he's sick. I mean, you don't normally go, if you sleep at home, you don't normally go out for a nap. That's till you where you go to the library.
Yeah, exactly. You go to the library, you go to the theater. It's like the lights come in, it's like, But here's the thing. If this guy is sleeping at a coffee shop, how weak must that coffee be? Whole point of a coffee shop is it's dosing you with caffeine. And it's like, they're giving you a Starbucks or whatever.
If that's not keeping him awake, then...
I guess not. I suppose not. Anyway, it was something like, one of my students did a presentation about energy drinks and how dangerous they are for kids and teenagers who are actually taking these things. And then it's like, one particular beverage has 16 times the amount of caffeine as a cup of coffee.
I think they also have like half sugar or something.
Oh, sugar, all right, sugar, fine, but that just boggles me. And if you've ever been boggled, you know how delightful that can be. Whoa! Tooth phone! Hello! You're at a convenience store on 39th Avenue. Okay, what are you reporting, sir? A man in the bathroom was refusing to leave after being asked several times. Officers responded and dispatch notes and indicated that the man liked one of the officers a lot. Oh, do I hear wedding bells or toilet flushes? Thump, 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 thump. There you go. Officer, you can put me in handcuffs. Anywho, let's do one more and then we'll do an elsewhere. I haven't even been wearing these. A caller at a downtown business, unnamed, just a downtown business, said a man who was kicked out 6 times in the past 48 hours kept coming back. The man had gotten sneakier, waiting until nobody was looking, and then running inside a booth. What business? I wonder. It's like, yeah.
Maybe it's the man who wants to go to sleep and he needs to find a place.
Like they threw him out of the coffee shop, and he says, "I just need like 15 minutes, a cat nap." That's all. It's like, I don't know. Let's do an.
He needs to serve him an energy drink.
That's right. He needs one half of a Red Bull, and he'll be fine for days. Did you ever try one of those? Did you ever?
I can't drink it.
Yeah, good.
I thought it was funny when we had a leadership conference here at the university, and then the woman's like, so I took people to the bookstore, they can get my discount, right? You know, because it's being staffed. And the woman's like, do you have energy drinks? Like, yeah. And she's like, I want one without sugar. And I was like, I don't get it. And she said, it's the caffeine.
It's the caffeine. That's about the. I'm sure they have 0 sugar energy drinks.
I know, it was so weird to me.
Well, I mean, what is tofurkey? It's turkey without turkey. I mean, why would you? But some people, it's like, dump a bunch of salt and mash it in with tofu, and, you know, as a food. Anywho, oh my God. It's that kind of day.
What, tofu? You had
I
turkey.
just mentioned, what did I just mentioned tofurkey in Turkey, right? Did I not?
I can't say it, yes.
And I did not remember this. I honestly didn't until I looked at my notes right this moment.
Oh, what?
Are elsewhere?
Yeah.
Guess where it's from?
Turkey?
Turkey.
Wow.
It's funny until it isn't. A teenage woodshop apprentice in Turkey is dead after a prank by his coworkers. They inserted a high-pressure air hose up his rectum.
Wow, that's not nice.
This is only the latest incident where the power tool has killed a young man by exploding his intestines. The dark joke turned deadly.
It's not a joke when you kill someone.
Yeah, well, it was meant to be hilarious. I guess it was like a week ago Friday, when Habib Aksoy and a friend allegedly overpowered 15-year-old Mohammed Kendirsi and tied his hands.
Did it to him? That's not fair.
Yeah, he didn't do it to himself. They thought it was a prank. They thought it was. Didn't your family know some guy who did the thing?
It was an ex-friend, former friend.
Former friend who, yeah, he said, "Hey, look what I can do." But this is worse. These two friends thought it would be amusing to put an air pump hose up his ass, this poor Mohammed Kendirsi, at the woodworking center in Sanliurfa. They allegedly forcibly removed his pants and shoved an air compressor tube into his anus. That really blows.
They killed him?
Yes! He had severe internal organ damage, rushed to the hospital where he died 5 days later.
Oh, goodness.
I mean, that's just
Was
like...
the guy charged with anything? Probably.
Oh, hell yeah, criminal investigation is underway. I wrote these little things here. What do you call a crime like that? Bumicide?
Oh, God.
Obstruction without justice?
Man.
Cracketeering?
But that was like the violence, he didn't want that.
No, it's a prank that's just gone horribly. They thought, it didn't occur to them that there's so much pressure in an air hose. They thought maybe it'd be like, woo, woo, like a little,
Yeah, like a trickle.
like rimming somebody and
But
going,
then look at it blow up a tire. I mean, you can't.
yeah. And by the way, thank you to the folks who wrote this story because they did their research. They did their history. Other similar cases of this crime include a 16-year-old who died in 2023 after coworkers put a hose in his butt for fun at a factory in India, kind of puffed up like a puri. The kid collapsed to the floor of the Pune Flour and Foods Processing Plant. Yeah, I hope they closed the plant at least for an hour or two to clean up, because that would not have been nice. And then in 2017, I mean, this is going back a while, a 17-year-old car wash worker, died after colleagues blasted a high-pressure air hose up his anus, causing his intestines to
Wouldn't they
explode.
Google it before you do it to see what the outcomes are?
Maybe not in 2017, but now?
Yeah, I think now you would. I mean,
Yeah. You figure, because I guess maybe they don't think of like a car tire. You go a bicycle
I
thing.
would also think that people who work in like those industries would know those are powerful things. I don't get that.
Yeah, I
They
can't.
wanted to kill.
Oh. Well, then that's a whole other crime, obviously. But cheapers. Let's not think the worst of human nature in this case. Let's just think they thought it would be funny to maybe see the guy go up like a balloon, like whoop, boom, and then come down again, as opposed to basically rupturing all his internal organs. That would be. And I guess we do know how powerful air is, because look at these things behind me.
That's not helium. That's
I know.
just air.
That is just air in balloons.
When was your show? Was it October?
We did our 1,000th episode of Dave's Gone By at the end of September.
Oh my God.
My wife.
What date was it? Do you know?
It would have been probably September like 30th or 28th or.
How many days is it from September 28th, 2005 until December 6th, 2025? Okay. From September 28th. Oh, wait.
Wait.
How many days from September 28th, 2025 to December 6th, 2025? 69 days. These are off.
Well, you do know how I like the word, the number 69, but look at this. That wasn't a balloon, ladies and gentlemen. That was old Dave making a little bit of a noise with his tum-tum there. So, yes, I've got to listen back to the tape on this one. So this, speaking of air, less foul air, let's say, was blown up at the very end of September. And while some of the balloons have obviously lost a bit of air, and again, not helium, this is just like from the mouth of my beloved, and yet here it is, it's 2.5 months, 69 days later, and some of these balloons are almost as they were 2.5 months ago. I don't know how, I don't know why. You figure a balloon is only really supposed to stay inflated for, a day, maybe 2 or 3 days. This is Hanukkah. Forget the menorah.
What's today, the 5th or 6th?
Today is the 6th of December.
We missed Krampus, look.
Krampus. Why would Krampus be so early?
I don't know.
Guess who's coming to dinner tonight? It's December 5th, Krampus Day. Hide your liquor. And the kids, too. There he is. Oh, my goodness.
He's scary.
Yeah.
Posted that.
So.
It's your friend Vicky.
Oh, Mickey, yay. We love her. Shout out to Vicky Quaddy out there in Chicagoland, the co-creator of Late Night Catechism and the creator of Are You Smarter Than Your 8th Grade Nun? Not to mention Christmas Bingo, which I'm sure she's starting almost immediately again. Go see her shows out there in the Midwest. Anyway, let's do 1 or 2 more Greeley times, and then we've got Bill Boggs, and then we've got so much else to do. Oh, is he doing a butt thing of the day? Is that the deal now?
I don't know. It's on your feed.
As well it should be. Butt song things.
I wonder if that's the one on the calendar.
Oh,
You can compare it.
because he does the mailbox. We have the mailbox, but now it's the mail truck. That's, is it dedicated? Doodle number 514 by Brian Cook, the man who puts butts on things. Here we go. Caller, on 25th Street. Oh, get your sound ready. Here we go.
Okay.
Said that a cat was crying outside her house for the past 2 hours. An officer responded and said, quote, "The cat ran under a vehicle and hissed at me."
That's what they do. What do cats do, for goodness sake? That's their main job.
Oh, but the cop should not be, he hissed at me.
Yeah, but, they'll scratch you hard.
Well, yeah, you put on gloves, man. I mean, he's a cop. I think the cat was thinking, hey, cat lives matter.
I was watching a show where the character is a murderer, but she's deathly afraid of spiders. So she can take anything, but she goes in a prison cell. She's like, spider!
Last one. Woo! For this week. A Lyft driver on 10th Street said, a very drunk man was refusing to get out of the vehicle. Police learned that a friend had booked the Lyft for the man, but didn't book it as a round trip, which made the man confused.
I think it's pretty clear.
Yeah. Well, doing Greeley time certainly lifts my spirits. All Uber the place. This, of course, has been on Dave's Gone By, our beloved segment, Greeley Times. Thank you to, of course, Chris Boland at the Greeley Tribune, who puts this column together every week for their version Coplog, our version Greeley Times.
Mr. Horace Greeley was no fool. I'm sure that you agree with me that Greeley was no fool.
What he is getting at is that Mr. Greeley was no fool.
Yippee-yi!
Yippee-yi, 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 yi-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi.
Oh, my friends, it is 10:10. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
What?
It's 10:10.
Oh, 10-10 wins?
Well, It's 10:10 a.m. in the Eastern Time. It's episode 1010. And I was going to call this episode of the show 1010 Wins. If you grew up in New York, you know what that refers to, the news radio station, WINS. I don't know if is it still there, or is that the one they took down and got rid of and changed to some gospel or Spanish format or something?
No. Is the 1010's AM Wins radio station still active?
Yes, 1010 Wins is still the continuously operating all news AM radio station.
I used to do it for like weather closures. That was the big thing when I was working in New York.
Oh, growing up it was WGLI, I think, or HLI, where we were on Long Island and the radio would go on. But I think 1010 Wins when we were in Brooklyn. They would tell us, wait.
When I lived near in the city on the Upper West Side.
Yeah. And 1010, and they would just school that, and it was alphabetical.
And you're waiting, you're like, oh God, and they're like, and I'm like, yay.
I tune in for like Bialik School.
They'd be like the crosstown bus at 101 going across 101st. The bus is slow, take the normal route. I'm like, okay.
Okay, yeah, well, anything. But when you're a kid, you put on the radio and they'd be at the letter D. And you realize that you were waiting for Bialik School B. And like D,
you have to go to the bathroom or you just skip it. You're like, wait, I have to wait. Yeah.
But there was something about the anticipation of it. That was also kind of fun.
The TV, they put on regular TV with the
Oh, they have the crawl. That's right. Thank you for remembering that. That's right. Oh my God. But anyway, we feel like winners here because it is our 1010th episode of the show. Now it's 10:12 a.m. But I didn't call the episode 1010 Wins.
Why not?
Because, well, I wanted to call it Bogged Down. Even though we are bogging up, actually, because...
He's a nice man.
I think you're going to have a wonderful time watching this interview with Bill Boggs. Bill Boggs, veteran broadcaster on WNEW, also on the Food Network, several shows. What else? Well, I have some other... I don't have my paperwork about him here, unfortunately. But doesn't matter. You're here. You're going to watch Rabbi Sol Solomon.
I think most people know him.
Yeah, I mean, of course you know, especially on the East Coast. But all over.
He did butts on like the Pokemon.
Yeah, Bill Boggs didn't do butts on the Pokemon. Brian Cook did.
I hope not.
But Bill Boggs is going to be joining us. Let me play while I share screen our brand new theme music for interviews. Let's see how this works.
Well, who been talking?
Everybody's talking at me. Who is on the other end talking? Conversation.
Okay, well, we're going to stop it there. It leaves me enough time to do a transition there. So I'm in the little screen up here, but now we're going to be watching Rabbi Sol Solomon chatting with Bill Boggs on Dave's Gone By. Oh, shalom, my friends. Shalom, my enemies. This is their old pal, Rabbi Sol Solomon, founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. And we are getting bogged down this morning, boggier even than my prostate, because, ladies and gentlemen, we have with us the one, the only, the New York legendary broadcaster, Bill Boggs, staring at us from his telephone there. He has won 4 Emmy Awards, count them 4. I don't even know 4 women named Emmy, come to think of it. But he's done that. You've seen him on Midday Live. He used to have a show on Food Network called Bill Boggs' Corner Table. He's done Comedy Tonight. He's been on WNEW for a bunch of years. And now, look at him waving there, because he's most proud over the past few years of transitioning from on-camera work to behind the computer and typewriter work, because he's written 4 books, including 2 about a dog, Spike the Wonder Dog. Well, we have the wonderful Bill Boggs with us. Shalom, Bill!
May your memory be a blessing when this is over.
Thank you. I mean, I'm growing memories as we speak. But Bill, so first of all, mazel tov on the books. On this, where did you, no, you know what, we'll roll it back. Let's talk about the TV stuff first? Because you went to, what was it, the Annenberg Journalism School?
I went to a school, a member of the Ivy League. People get it mixed up with Penn State, University of Pennsylvania, in my hometown of Philadelphia. It was much, believe me, Rabbi, it was much easier to get in than it would be now. And I had an undergraduate degree in sociology and English, but then I stayed on and got a master's in communications. And it was a really wonderful, just 1 year, a master's in 1 year. I had a great time. So I'm from Philadelphia. At the time, really, I didn't see what the value of being at such a prestigious school like Penn would be. But it's turned out over the years that I'm really glad I went there. My whole goal with school was just get through. I was like a B student. And once I got an A, once I got a C, I guess that adds up to B, A and C. So I just, I got out of graduate school and I took there's a lesson here in this story, okay? I got out of graduate school and I took the first job that was offered to me, even though I wanted to go in the show business and wanted to do what I've ended up doing. And it was a company in Lancaster, PA, still exists, Armstrong World Products. And they manufacture all kind of ceiling tile, floor tiles, plastic containers. But the money they were offering was phenomenal. So I took the job, moved to Lancaster, PA, got a car, had an apartment, and it took me about 3 weeks to realize that I had trapped myself in an immensely boring job, writing speeches for executives. The movie Executive Suite was written about the Armstrong Core Company. Anyway, while there, one of my very good friends, Jay Tarsis, one of the funniest people I've ever known in my life, knew him from the beach in Ocean City for 4 years. He was working for Alan Funt, who had a show called Candid Camera, but Jay was only making $100 a week. He had one child and another child on the way. So I suggested, Jay, why don't you come down to Armstrong? It's boring, but they pay very well. So they hired Jay Tarsis, and then as fate would have it, Jay was sitting next to a guy whom I did not know named Tom Patchett, and they started writing comedy routines because they're both very funny guys. Now, this is where the story is, the learning experience is.
Right, get your thinking caps on, yes.
Well, yeah, get your receiving, open the receptors. So I was walking down the hall one day, and Tom and Jay were doing a comedy routine about a toll taker with the paper back and forth on the Pennsylvania Turnpike. And they had these three secretaries across the wall who were really laughing. So I watched. I said, what is this? We hate our jobs as much as you do. We're just writing comedy routines on the side. I said, you have others? Yeah, we got about 6, 7 others. Do one. They started doing this routine, and it was in the category of quality of writing and delivery of Mike Nichols and Elaine May. It was excellent. I saw this immediately being a lifelong fan of comedy and having been in the comedy team myself. In the middle of this routine.
Stop. Now, wait, I'm going to stop you there. What, had you done stand-up, or what had you done to that point? Because you were just in college and then got a job. Where were you in
in high school, I had a comedy. I was part of a two-man comedy team. And then in college, the two-man comedy team kept working for a while.
Oh, okay.
But I've always loved the world of comedy. So I had this blinding revelation, this stuff is great. I'll book them around, and if it catches on, we'll quit our jobs and go into show business. 5 months later, my friend, they were on the Merv Griffin daytime television show. 5 months later. Then they were on Joey Bishop. Then they were on Hollywood Palace, and they were playing around, and we made more money collectively the first year that we had at Armstrong. So the learning lesson there is, if you are hit with a bolt of lightning, as the French say, a coup de foudre idea, the lesson there is to follow up on it. I didn't say, well, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know. I'd have to be selling them. I just knew I could. I instinctively knew that I could sell this big talent. And then went on ending up writing for Mary Tyler Moore, Bob Newhart, Carol Burnett, a Muppet movie, very successful men, Patch and Tart.
But I'm curious, you being a comedy person already yourself, having been in a comedy team, didn't you balk sort of at being a manager rather than say, hey, we could be a trio. We should be, the Ritz Brothers or something.
No, I never considered being the Three Stooges or the Ritz Brothers. But what happened was I knew I had opened the door for myself to the world of show business, and that, yes, this isn't exactly what I wanted to do. My mother told me I used to walk around the house with a pencil when I was 5 years old, pretending to interview people. So after I was very satisfied managing the comedy team, even though I was in the background. So after about 2.5 years of managing, Thanksgiving, I was home for Thanksgiving with the family, and my mother, we didn't have a dishwasher, so my mother and I she's washing and I'm drying. And she says, well, how you doing, Bill? How do you feel about what you're doing, pushing for the boys? And she was well aware of this. I said, well, it's exciting. I mean, we were accomplishing things. Then she said, but I thought you always wanted to be the one out front, not behind the scenes. I thought your dream was to be on television. I said, yeah, that's true. You're right. And she said, don't forget that. So when an opportunity came along, about a month and a half later, to be a producer of a talk show, associate producer of a talk show in Philadelphia, and on camera once a week, I took that job, and Tom and Jay went from being managed by Bill Boggs, selling on his father's black rotary phone, to the great Bernie Brillstein managing agency on Beverly Hills.
Yeah, but it worked out for you too, because you got what you wanted. You got on camera and you got to associate produce, so you got a bit of the best of both worlds. And oh well, no, thank you. It's mazel tov for you. And then you built and built and built from there. Was that still in Pennsylvania? Were you still in PA at that point when you were on the?
Yeah, I was living in my parents' house, living with my parents, and we'd come to New York, and Sylvester Stallone and his brother, Frank, had been in my high school, and I knew their mother, and Mrs. Felitti would let us stay at this spare apartment that they had. We Philadelphians stick together.
Do you have any Stallone stories? Do you have any, or Frank Stallone, brother, any memories, any anecdotes?
Well, I was in addition to managing the comedy team, I had to bring in more money. As my father said, Philadelphia's a city where you hustle and make a living. So I was a frequent substitute teacher. And the Philadelphia school system paid $23 a day back in the mid-'60s. And in one of my classes was a young man named Frank Stallone. And he had a band called The American Tragedy. And so for a while, I managed the band. I got them booking the pen and places around. But since managing wasn't my main goal, that sort of fell away. So fast forward to 1975, the only time I've ever been at the Oscars, I was there with my girlfriend, Francine LaFrac, and backstage at the Oscars, there's Stallone, Sylvester Stallone, holding his Academy Award. And I said, hey, how you doing? I'm Bill Boggs. He said, hey, you manage my brother's act. So that's where I met him. And anytime, I've seen him over the years. We both have places in Palm Beach. He's charming, friendly. He's just a really regular guy. And I love his series. I'm going to plug this slide. Tulsa King, Sunday night.
And by the way, I had no idea that you just threw another name in there, Francine LaFrac. Is she of the LaFrac dynasty of building like Starrett City or whatever that? I didn't know you dated.
Well, a lot of people don't know my dating history. It's a long and colorful one. And when I first came, I'm telling you the truth. It is.
You are. No, you were married 4 times. No, but yeah.
Well, wait a second. The first one was annulled. But in a long life, look, I'm 84 years old now. In a long life, marriages happen. One died. One was annulled. The one was Trevor's mother. And the other was a dear friend of mine, Leslie Brennan, to this day. So it all worked out okay.
Did you ever date anybody famous, even more famous than Francine LaFrac?
I know, something. People have 3 lives: a public life, a private life, and a secret life. So I don't like to talk about it. There's a couple of names I could mention. I just don't want to go.
The initials even? Can we guess? No? Was it?
CB. You have to take it from there.
Okay. I was going to go GM, maybe Golda Meir at some point because she was out there in Milwaukee, but no.
As far Jewish as I got was Francine. Oh, no. And for 10 years, my girlfriend was Jane Rothschild. This is a lovely Jewish woman who had never been married, never lived with anybody. And over the course of, we were together actually 13 and a half years. Over the course of the 13 and a half years, near the end, the last couple of years, by her own admission, she started to become more Jewish. She started contributing more and doing things like that. She never went to temple once. And then near the end, she said, Bill, you're not Jewish. And I said, it's taken me a while to figure that out. And she decided she didn't want to be with me anymore.
Literally because of the, oh my.
That was one of the reasons. Oh. She also didn't like living with somebody else and had been a loner all her life. So she left, I like to say she ran off with herself. But we had a lot of fun together.
And by the way, since you mentioned the last name, are we talking about a scion of the Childs or no?
Oh, the S is not in there.
Oh, it's a totally different.
She's a really, really good, intelligent woman. We had a great run.
Mazel tov. By the way, are you seeing anybody now? I mean, you said you're friends with your last wife, but is there a Boggs person?
No. I have female friends I go out with, but I'm not involved in any living together relationship. I think the only thing I really miss after Jane left me around with herself was the warmth of sleeping together at night. Now I get up in the middle of the night to, you know what, I'm by myself, it's all dark. But my life has been so wonderful. I don't want to make myself into a victim. I'm in that very, very high small percentile of people who made their dreams come true, been healthy, and had wonderful relationships.
Lullaby on the health, too, mazel tov. And you know what? For the warmth in the bed, there's hookers. Not that I would, but I'm just saying if they're there,
We all live your life.
So let's get back to, so you were managing Patchett and Tarsus when they worked as a comedy team before they were writing. Then you got on camera. How did you make the jump to New York?
Well, it involved leaving Philadelphia. And I made a New Year's resolution going into 1972 that I would go anywhere in the country to get my own talk show. Now, I had been working on a very good show in Philadelphia with big ratings, and I was on once a week. And Philadelphia is like the third or fourth largest market. So that really helped. I was willing to go to anywhere. I ended up going to an ABC affiliate in High Point, North Carolina, where I created a show called Southern Exposure with Bill Boggs. I produced it together with a man who would become my lifelong, who was my intern, and then he became associate producer, and my lifelong friend and former business partner, Richard Baker. And I'm happy to say that for the 3 years we were on air, we beat the Today Show in local ratings. So that was very successful. And then I got an offer to go to Miami to host a show, San Francisco or New York, almost about the same time. And I left High Point behind, and I've never forgotten how much it meant to me. I remember driving away down my road that I lived on, looking at it in the rearview mirror, fading away. I thought, never forget, you could come back to something like this. I haven't, but it was such a creative time.
Yeah, I have to ask, how crazy was that? Because not only were you hosting a show at that point several days a week, but you also had to produce it, which meant you didn't have to hire the crew or pay the crew. I mean,
just booking the show, getting the guests.
Okay, yeah.
Which, I mean, it's all phone work, talking people in. The interesting thing here, Rabbi, is High Point, North Carolina is between Washington and Atlanta, obviously. So I knew the bookers, I knew the PR people from my 3 years in Philadelphia, but they said, no, these are so-called sophisticated New Yorkers who only display ethnocentrism, and they said, well, we don't send guests south of Atlanta. And I said, well, we're in the Midway.
Yeah.
And I had to get a cartoon drawn up that showed Washington, and then it showed High Point, and then it showed Atlanta. And as a result of that, we got a phenomenal guest. Now, look, let me plug something that is not a commercial enterprise. I have a YouTube channel called Bill Boggs TV. On that YouTube channel are about 500 videos from interviews I've done as recently as a couple months ago, all the way back to High Point, North Carolina, where there's like a highlight reel of several shows. Bill Boggs TV. You can spend a lot of time entertaining yourself by, not because of me, but because of the guests we had on. Name like 4 big names from the last century. Just come up with some names.
Well, you want me to okay. Orson Welles. Did you ever get to talk to Orson?
No.
Oh, sorry. All right.
That's one down.
One down. All right. Okay. What about one of the Kennedys? John F. or Bobby?
Ted Kennedy.
Ted Kennedy, before or after he killed the girl in the car?
No, it was after Chappaquiddick.
After, all right. But did you have to be nice, or could you mention
Look, it had been dry cleaned, that subject. It was on the show several years after that happened.
Did you ever get, let's see, Jimmy Stewart?
Yes. Jimmy Stewart I interviewed when I was still in High Point. I used to go on junkets for movies. And one of his last movies was called Fool's Parade. And I went down there and interviewed Jimmy Stewart, and they had an actual parade down Wheeling, West Virginia. And they asked me to ride in one of the cars as one of the female stars of the movie. That was a great experience. That's when I was still in Philadelphia.
Wow. Okay. I'm pretty good. I've gotten 2 out of 3 here of the.
Yeah, you win.
So who, though, would be like your favorite, even before hitting New York? Like the interview that you would just pinch yourself that you still did?
Easy for me to answer that. Frank Sinatra. I did the longest interview of his career. The first time he ever appeared on a talk show, I mean, if you discount the Tonight Show, Frank Sinatra, and had been a lifelong Sinatra fan. The interview was in 1975. I snuck into the 500 Club in Atlantic City to see Frank Sinatra. I snuck in dressed as a busboy, and I totally fell in love with Frank Sinatra and his work. The man really could command the stage. And when he sang the ballads, you could just feel the emotion coming from him. And so it was a distinct pleasure to, so I'll tell you the whole story. So after I saw Frank at the 500 Club, a couple times a year, I'd have a recurring dream. It was a pleasant dream. I'm sitting in a chair talking to Frank, right? Sometimes it is Frank. Sometimes it looks like a different person, but it's still Frank. So I was set to go to Las Vegas, Easter weekend, 1975. The woman I was dating, it was her birthday. She said, meet me in Las Vegas. We'll go to see Elvis and Sinatra on the same night. So I had good contacts with Sinatra's office because I knew Sammy Davis Jr. And she got Elvis, I got Frank. And she was a heavy drinker and doing a lot of cocaine and stuff. So at a certain point, she was so out of it, she just went up to the room. Now it's about 2 in the morning, and I thought, here I am in Vegas. I've been there a couple of times with the comedy team. And I just was wandering around, taking it in, and coming toward me is Jilly Rizzo, Sinatra's right-hand man, again, whom I met and knew me from Sammy Davis Jr. And if you want the Sammy Davis Jr. story, I can give you that one.
Yes, he's Jewish, you know. Or he's dead, but he's also Jewish, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So I ran it. Jilly Rizzo said to me, Bill, would you like to meet Frank? Oh, I forgot. So the morning listen, I'm sorry about this.
No, fine.
The morning, just rewind a moment. The morning I'm set to go to Vegas to meet Elaine and go to Elvis and Sinatra, I woke up in the middle of the most vivid Frank Sinatra dream I had ever had. He's sitting across from me. I'm sitting across from him. We're talking with great intensity. And my eyes opened, And I thought, this is a precognitive dream. I'm going to meet Frank Sinatra, and he's going to come and be on midday, and it happened.
All right, there's your Frank story, and I hope it was a nice interview. You seem like with stories, it was
fabulous, fabulous. And that portions of that interview are available on Bill Boggs TV, as well as an hour-long interview with Sammy Davis, Sean Connery, a lot of different people there.
Now, do you have a Sammy story?
I learned a dime from it. It's there for posterity.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's huge. I've interviewed people who have long careers in the showbiz, and I want to say, well, where are the archives? They might have been on radio or something. Can we hear them? And they say, well, in my basement, in my garage, I've got reels of tape, and I haven't. I'm like, you're not getting any younger. This is what you have to do. But do you have a Sammy story? Because you said you already knew him pretty well.
I did. Extremely gracious man. So the story is this. One of the jobs I had while I was managing the comedy team, I stopped being a substitute teacher. I was working as assistant dean of men at the University of Pennsylvania, 4 days a week, managing the team, selling them, they were booking. I didn't have to be with them at all times. So the phone rings, and it's a man named Ken Roberts, who's about my age. He had just graduated from college, and he formed a company called University Concert Productions. He had this great idea: take big-name nightclub performers and book them on campuses. So he's pitching Sammy Davis to be at the Palestra at the University of Pennsylvania. To me, this is a no-brainer, right? But in order to get an event on campus, I was an administrator, assistant dean of men, you have to go through basically the student council. So I go to the student council, which 60-70% were guys who had, these are all men, who had been to really swanky, posh private schools before coming to Penn. A little bit snobby, maybe. And so I pitch them, and two of them look at each other and say, we don't want that N-word on this campus. So this sort of enraged me. I pulled back. I went to the other assistant dean, Paul Hiller, great guy, and I said, we got to put the show on somehow. So we were both former presidents of our fraternities, and we went to the Interfraternity Council, got them to sponsor Sammy Davis, sold out every seat in the Palestra. The story was on the front page of the Philadelphia Inquirer the morning after the show. And the Interfraternity Council put it on, but the Student Council was so pissed off at me for doing this that they got my transcripts out. They were just bad-mouthing me. I was an assistant dean. But anyway, that's how I met Sammy. And that opened I like to say, that's how I made my bones with the Rat Pack. Because before Sammy's show, he was in a dressing room, and then I and about 4 people were in the anteroom. And the only thing he wanted, by the way, was a bottle of great Manischewitz wine. So somebody says, to Ken Roberts, somebody says, Ken, you have no idea what Bill had to go through to get this show here. What do you mean? Tells Ken the story. Sammy hears it. Sammy comes out and says, you're my friend. He gives me a big hug, and that's how I met Sammy Davis Jr. And as I like to say, that's how I made my bones with the Rat Pack.
Wow. I guess you met Lawford, and I forget who else was in there. Who were the...
Joey Bishop, Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr.
And did you interview most of them at some point? Dino and...
I never interviewed or met Dean, which I regret. Dean Martin is one of the king of cool. There's a documentary film, you can still find it, called The King of Cool, Dean Martin. Yeah. And they interviewed me extensively about that. Yeah. The same company that did the series Mafia Spies, Tom Donahue, a great producer. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, what I also want to get from North Carolina to, because the reason people my age from New York would know you is because you were on in the syndicated, you were on in New York on midday and WNEW TV. So, you were pulled away, you were in that car leaving this beloved North Carolina position, and then you hit the big city, not looking back, really. So what are your great memories of coming to New York and making it big in the big town?
It was a partly good, partly bad. In High Point, North Carolina, I had been completely in charge, together with Richard Baker and a woman named Buffy Queen, of everything I wanted to do on the show. The show was great. It beat the Today Show. The general manager of the station couldn't believe how well we had done in the first ratings book. So when I came to New York, Rabbi, I didn't have that kind of control. I had people saying, we're producing you. They say, we want you to do this, we want you to do that. And that was uniquely frustrating. Now, as the years passed, it got it improved. But many times I had ideas for something I wanted to do that I would have done in North Carolina that would have done very well, that they just would reject my ideas. That was the negative part. The good part was, hey, the swinging 70s, the roaring 20s of nothing of the 70s, to come as a young, virile bachelor to New York City in 1975, to be there the opening night of Studio 54, and have a friend who operated Xenon, and go to nightclubs, Copacabana. It was just great. I love
Can I ask you, how did you stay away from, or maybe you didn't, like you had one girlfriend who was with the drugs and the drinking and the thing. Were you a good boy, or did a lot of things go up your nose?
No, I think cocaine, I tried it. It's a drug where too much is never enough. And you can't get it's cut, in this country, it's cut with speed, or it was then. You can't get to sleep. I never have been to Colombia, Bogota, but if you're down there, you can get cocaine that just gives you a tremendous lift, and you can go to sleep, everything. Because I had a friend who was a director of the ballet down there, told me all about it. No, I have essentially only been a smoker of marijuana in my life. I still smoke marijuana. I have like one hit before a music show or something. I have very good pot. The pot these days is so much better than it was back then. And I see it as no different than a cocktail, none whatsoever. You have a cocktail or wine, whatever, to sort of change your reality a little bit. Same with pot.
And so none of this ever affected you on camera. You could go out, party at Xenon, and then be up at 7 in the morning to whatever or stuff.
I had the strength to do stuff like that. But at a certain point, you have to go home. I mean, you got it.
Yeah.
You have to have 6-7 hours sleep. That's it.
Besides this one, what is the worst interview that you ever had to deal with?
Well, we had a new producer of the show, and for 3 segments, I was interviewing children of Holocaust survivors, okay?
I don't know why I'm laughing, but okay, yeah.
No, this is not funny. Now, I said to the new producer, you should not do this. No, well, I'm producing you. We're going to do this. So the 4th segment, after meeting these people, hearing their dreadful stories about their parents, he books a Holocaust denier. And so I bring him up. I introduce him. I reintroduce the other 3 people. And I say to them, I think you should just get off the set. I don't want to interview you. And he left. So I refused to interview him. Yeah. Wait. And the producer got fired because the general manager said, what the hell are you doing? He was out of there.
That really isn't horrible. And I have horrible taste, but I can't even imagine the tastelessness. But was there a performer, an actor, a singer, whatever, that you tried to interview that was just so, like, oh, you thought it'd be great, and it's like...
Lee Marvin was so drunk that he had to be helped up to the seat. This was a taping. And like this. He must have like 3 martinis at lunch. And so that kind of, we actually couldn't put it on the air. It just was a waste of time.
And let me also ask you then, speaking of taste and speaking of that, I had you down here as a producer of the Morton Downey Jr. show. Now, people remember him. He was, the idea of trash TV or like
that show invented trash TV. People say the Jerry Springer show was like the Morton Downey Jr. show. It's partly true. The Jerry Springer show was a normal host with crazy guests. The Downey show was normal guests with a crazy host.
Right.
And the guy was really talented, but he was extremely self-destructive. But as Regis Philbin, name dropping, said to me, the Downey show is the fastest rise and fall in the history of television. And the people behind it were really successful. My bosses were the guys who created MTV.
Oh, wow. Okay. But what did you do for the show? Were you his tailor?
I was executive producer. I was in charge of the show. I was in charge of the staff. I was in charge of the subjects. And I always believed, I just read a book about leadership saying, if you have good people, delegate and let them do their thing. And I would say if I did anything well, I really delegated well to my staff.
But how was he? Was it an act? You said he was a self-destructive person, but when he was on camera, was he appreciably different from when the actual Morton Downey would get?
Yeah, he was a performance artist. He would go out on the camera and do this stuff. He could say, okay, before the show, like an hour and a half, tonight we're doing women in the military. Which side do you want to be on? Yes or no? Like a lawyer. Say, I'm going to be on no. Then we start writing the show. If I'm in a foxhole and I got machine guns firing overhead, I don't want to be in that foxhole with a double D woman I got to be looking at. That's more.
So there was a calculation to it. He wasn't that crazy, even off camera.
Oh, he was just
like a box.
He was just self-destructive.
But what are some other memories of your doing in New York? Like, we talked about the famous people you got to interview when you in North Carolina. Who are your great memories chatting with in New York on like midday and so forth?
Well, I like Dionne Warwick very much. I like Barry.
You're halfway. Speaking off camera, you're
sorry.
Yeah.
Barry Manilow, James Brown, Little Richard.
James Brown. Like, now this was before he was on PCP and he lost his mind. He was like normal. When was this?
I don't remember the exact date, but he wasn't on drugs. He was actually on the show speaking out against drugs. Excuse me, I have to get a drink.
Okay.
And let's see. Sean Connery. Right. A couple of others. So there's some good names for you.
So what is your suggestion? Like if there are budding people who want to go into the MC hosting kind of show, podcasting for interviews, what have you learned in your many, many years doing what you do? What are suggestions of like, here's the way you should interview people?
I think that listening is crucial. Meaning, you're talking
Sorry,
to
did
me.
you just say something? I missed that.
You're talking to me, and you don't have a big list of questions. You know what you want to talk about. So, like, when I'm answering one question, you're not thinking, now I'm going to answer about this. You're just letting the conversation to flow. And so that involves trusting yourself and listening. It's really no different than having a conversation with somebody sitting across from you in a chair, except there's a more performance aspect to it. Meaning, if you and I were sitting in my apartment talking about this, I wouldn't be quite as demonstrative and projecting in the way I am now.
Neither would I.
No, that's Morton Downey Jr.
You wrote, speaking of flipping to a question I actually have written here, you wrote a book about successful people who have, quote, what it takes.
Yeah.
What does it take?
There's a book.
Of course, the guy.
And success got what it takes.
Yeah.
Successful people reveal how they made it to the top. Now, this is an idea I've had for a long time, to use my interviewing skills to interview people, not about business decisions, but about the internal qualities that made them successful. And the book got very good reviews. In fact, there's one or two schools that use Got What It Takes. I would say anybody watching, believe me, the book's been a long time. I'm not saying this to make a dime from it. I already made my money. But a parent with say, graduating from high school or college, this would be an excellent gift. got what it takes. Successful people reveal how they made it to the top.
Well, if you were to crunch down from those pages a theme that ran through many of the folks that you interviewed.
Everybody asked me that question. You know, I think that the answer, there are several answers. The one I like best is that find a passion, something you're passionate about, and follow your passion. Exhibit A, look at you.
Well, yeah, well, mine involves handcuffs and bubble bath, but we won't really go there. We're talking, by the way, with Bill Boggs. We want to remind you that you can go to his YouTube channel, Bill Boggs TV, to watch more than 500 of his interviews stretching back over decades. Plus, you are also the author not only of that book, Got What It Takes, but tell us about Spike.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, behind your head, we see, that's right, that's the middle. This is a Spike Unleashed, The Wonder Dog Returns. And the first one is The Adventures of Spike the Wonder Dog, okay? So these books are hard-hitting social observation satire. Satire is ridicule and exaggeration. So the books are written and narrated, are narrated by Spike the Wonder Dog, the dog, just like The Art of Racing in the Rain and a couple of other, Call the Wild, have been narrated by dogs. And I had no idea before I sat down to write the book that I had the ability to write, a very facile ability to write satire, ridicule, and exaggeration. What happened was my last TV show, which was for the AARP, no one ever mentions, it was a really nice show. In fact, I forgot the name of it. But anyway, when that went off the air, it's called My Generation. I was standing right over there in my living room, right over there, and I thought, you know, I'm 75 years old, 70, whatever it was. I've been chasing jobs all my life. I've been very aggressive in charting my own path, as Sinatra would sing. And I did it pretty much my way. So nothing's going to happen on TV anymore. I don't think no one's looking for me. If I had an affiliation, like I had, was at Food Network for 12 years, once you have an affiliation like that, but you know what happened? After 12 years in the Food Network, they let Sarah Moulton, David Rosengarten, me, and one other person go because they wanted younger people. And we were 40, 40 years old, I know. Anyway, so I just decided, I had this idea. I had a dog in North Carolina, Southern Exposure, who was an English Bull Terrier with a spot on his eye, right? And the dog was very funny. The dog wasn't that smart, but he was funny. Bring him to the show, and he had his own chair, and he'd start out looking at a guest. The lights are very hot. He'd be looking at a guest gradually. He'd fall asleep. People loved this. He got more mail than I did. Shortly before coming to New York, he was killed by a drunk driver. Horrible. So I had the idea, I don't know if I had the G part in there. What if Spike hadn't been killed and came to New York in today's world with a talk show host like me, a guy a lot like me, but not me, not an exact me, and became a huge television and social media star, being on social media. And that was the idea. But the thing is, I just sat down to do it. My girlfriend, Ishbel, a woman I really love and care about, unfortunately, she lives in nearby Brazil, but she had been up here. I said, no, I got to write it, but you know me, how busy I am. She said, look, and this is for anyone who says they want to write a book. One day, when you have a little time, sit down and see what happens. And what happened? 2 books came out of it. Thank you, Ishbel.
How do people get these? Do you have a website? Where can people buy?
You have to come to my house. Pay me in cash. No, these books are available on Amazon. So let's review the books.
Yes.
The Adventures of Spike the Wonder Dog, the original book about, let's see, Winston Groom. It's probably the last book he read. Remember he wrote Forrest Gump?
Yeah.
He said, Bill Boggs and his friend Spike unleash comedic wizardry in this madcap, highly entertaining, satirical novel. Okay? And then the second one is a little bit, picks up a little bit about a year after the first one ending, and it's called The Adventures of Spike. It's called Spike Unleashed. So you have The Adventures of Spike the Wonder Dog, Spike Unleashed, and I know that you're not going to believe this, but one of the people who read the book, I had just met him through a friend of mine, Bob Merrill, was Mike Reese, one of the creators of the Simpsons.
The Simpsons, yes.
Yeah. So I said, Mike, if I send you a book, would you read it and give me a blurb? Yeah. 3 weeks later, this is part of the blurb, and he was serious. Not since Voltaire has someone written such an epic. Bill's written an amazingly funny book and so hip. Let's see. Brian Cox said the book is an absolute delight in such a brilliantly acerbic comic manner. Joe Piscopo, a witty, timeless, satirical gem, and a fun read. The books are designed. I will refund the money of anyone who buys the books, and they're like $18, $15. Who reads the whole book and doesn't laugh out loud. I'll refund the money.
But what's really interesting is that you were so known in your New York years. I know you obviously from the Carolinas or from Philly, but as being kind of a very gentle, I don't want to say bland, but kind of a nice talk show. No one can get the...
hang up, but you can say bland.
But I'm not saying that, but I'm saying this satire and the dark side and the humor, you kind of had to subsume. People didn't see you as like a Letterman type or a Stern type. You sort of came off as more of a Phil Donahue type, if we will.
It's just another aspect of my personality. You know, and a friend of mine said, people might be skeptical about this because they don't want to give you two things. They don't want to think, hey, he won 4 Emmys in talk shows. What's he doing as a writer? I don't understand. I think pigeonholing people is really a terrible thing.
Yes, yeah, and it's really bad for the pigeons because they bleed. But I don't even know what that means. I'm sorry. But no, it's what do you feel though that now that you're mostly off camera, you don't have a show that you're hosting regularly, and you can put pen to paper or fingers to keyboard, that you can let out a side that you sort of had to keep hidden when you were on TV, because now you could be.
I didn't feel I had to keep it hidden.
Oh.
Writing is just a different process than talking to people on television. It's just writing is like having it, for me, it's like having a movie going off in my head. Now, I'm old enough to be a child of radio. I had a little radio when I was 4 years old, and so we're talking about mid to late 40s. And so on the radio, there were dramatic programs, acting. There were comedy shows, Jack Benny and Phil Harris and so forth. And as Bill Cosby said many years ago before he became what happened, he said, radio is a theater of the mind. You would lie or sit there with your eyes closed visualizing it. And that happened to me. And when I started writing a book, the first book I wrote was called At First Sight, which is a romantic novel. But that was 1980. It just was like a movie was going off in my head when I was writing about it.
Well, can I ask, before we let you go, Bill Boggs, is there a Spike 3, or is there another book that's coming out?
I think if there is another book, it would probably be called End of the Tale, a Spike book.
Yeah.
In it, I think Spike would perish, but I don't know if I'm going to do it. You know, I have to. If I do something, I got to commit to it. It's a lot of work, and I just don't know. I am going to be writing 300-word observational pieces for a website that has thousands and hundreds of thousands of readers. I'm going to start that. Actually, I was going to start this afternoon, but I have burned enough energy doing this, I can wait until tomorrow. And it's going to be observational things about where I live. I have a home in East Hampton. I'm here in Manhattan, and I rent a place in Palm Beach for 4 months a year. So
I need to get your will. Holy crap, that's fantastic.
No, because I'm renting that place. There's not that much left in my will.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've been chatting with the delight. I've got to say, I do absolutely mean this. Among the guests who have been on this program over our past 24 years, the best very often tend to be people who are media folks and hosts and interviewers themselves. Well, among them have been Dick Cavett, one of the best guests we've ever had. You're up there. You, too, Bill Boggs. You're so delightful and so well-spoken and so fun. I'm just one of the best. All I can do is invite you back at some point to come and tell more stories. And
I'll come back. I like doing this. As I said early on, it's self-deprecating. I like talking about myself. It's fun. And by the way, I want to compliment you.
Please.
You really are a exceptional host. First off, you project a lot of energy. I couldn't be answering your questions like, well, I'll tell you. I think that you bring the energy level of your guests up. And you're fun, you're funny, you're really listening, you have a quick comedic sense. And this act you do as a rabbi, that just has a twist to it where people think, yeah, I know, it's all a costume coming down. Anyway, thank you very much.
Bill Boggs, thank you so much to you two. We hope to see you soon. And everybody, go to his YouTube channel, Bill Boggs TV, and go get his books. Thank you. And shalom, and happy holidays to you, too.
I have one question for you.
Please, yes.
It's going to be, you can cut it off there.
No, well, all right.
I'd like to be able to have a link so I can put this on my YouTube channel. It's so good.
Well, please. What happens is after the program airs, we take the segment will be available on YouTube. It'll be available there, and we can send you the MP4 or the M4A or the IHG, whatever it is. We'll send you, and you can put it. Please project it on the side of your house.
I will. Yeah, I will. So I'll rely on you to get back to me on that. You have my email address, correct?
I do believe, yes, or send it to me. I don't have your Facebook thingy, but I probably have your email address too if we corresponded. Maybe I might have it in Hebrew, so you might have to resend it as well in English. Yeah. But Bill Boggs, thank you again. Shalom. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bill Boggs and me, Rabbi Sol Solomon. Yes, live in the person flesh with you now. That was me recorded talking to Bill Boggs about a week ago. Wasn't he fun? Wasn't he special? Wasn't he nice? This is me, Rabbi Sol, on this Shabbos morning. It is December 6, 2025. It is just after 11 o'clock in the morning a.m. time, and I am here to share with you some pre-Hanukkah fun. I know we're more than a week away from the Hanukkah holiday, but I've got to tell you, there are so many books, so many children's books in particular, about Hanukkah now that why wait until the holiday? Why not get started? Everybody's getting into the holiday spirit mood because the weather sucks. So sure, why not? And I thought, let me share with you. Let me read to you in a segment, I forgot to play the music, a segment called Storytime, where I will read to you somebody else's story.
Tell me a story, tell me a story, tell me a story. Remember what you said. You promised me, you said you would. You got to give in, so I'll be good. Tell me a story, then I'll go to bed.
Yes, I'm going to tell you a story. This is nice because I don't have to do anything except read and make my brilliant rabbinical comments about way too many latkes. Yes, way too many latkes, which subtitled A Hanukkah in Chelm. Now, if you know anything about Chelm, if you are a Jew, non-Jews wouldn't know anything about this, but it's this fictional city, or town really, of Jewish people, but not the brightest in the world, not the biggest, best seichels in their heads. They're dumb, essentially, is what we're saying. But they're dumb in kind of a counter-ingenious way. So they will explain things or do things and have a particular logic to them that sounds crazy to the rest of us, but kind of works out for them. And they have happy endings of things that happen. Anyway, that's what my interpretation of Chelm is. Let's see if that fits with the book here. Way Too Many Latkes, a Hanukkah in Chelm by Linda Glaser. I made myself laugh. Linda Glaser, illustrated by Alexander Zolotic, which is published, where the hell is it? 2017 by, I'm going to need my bigger glasses for this. This is better. Where the hell is it? Learner Publishing, Car-Ben Publishing, for Uncle Nat, with boundless gratitude for all the laughs and loves we shared. Now, I do, though, want to caution, where's Potato? As you know, potatoes are a very important part of this program, more for David, who hosts the show, than for me. But I want to warn Potato here that that's my family. It's the Holocaust. No, yes, it's sort of the Potato version of the Holocaust here. I understand this. But it's just fiction. It's not real. You'll be okay. Let us read Way Too Many Latkes. In Chelm, the village of fools, Fagel, yes, we know what he goes out with that night. Fagel makes the best latkes, but every Hanukkah, it's a girl, she only makes a tiny batch. If you're lucky, she serves you one little latke, and you dream about it for the rest of the year, because it's, I think, Russia, it's the 1800s, and you have no life. Except for 1 year, when everything went awry. And I guess she started making rye bread. But here's Fagela and her latkes, and this is all she's doing. And look, all the Jews lining up. There we go. It's like Christmas Eve at Walmart. It was the first night of Hanukkah. I don't remember my latke recipe, cried Fagel. How will I make potato latkes? How indeed? Well, you always use potatoes, her husband Shmuel remembered. Yes, thank you, Shmuel. This is obviously what we're dealing with here on the intellectual level. But how many, she wailed. Was it 3, maybe 4? She's just, as Pagan Cat would be, she is totally freaking out. I'll go ask the rabbi, said Shmuel, because, don't go ask your friend, don't go ask every other housewife in the town who also makes latkes. No, ask the rabbi. The rabbi, cried Fagel. What does he know about making latkes? She's smarter than him. Bupkes, nothing. But he's the wisest man in Chelm, said Shmuel. He knows more than you think. Well, maybe you're right, said Fagel. Quick, go ask. So he goes, he's got a whole thing of potatoes. It's like, what do you need? Oil, potatoes, a pan. Dang. Anywho, moving forward. Shmuel ran to the rabbi's house in 2 flicks of a goat's tail. Flick, flick. The rabbi, help! Fagel can't remember her latke recipe. How many potatoes should she use? The rabbi's stomach gurgled. I'm not kidding. The rabbi's stomach gurgled. He hadn't eaten much all day. Tell her to use them all. Shmuel scratched his head. Scratch, scratch. Are you sure? Are these my feet? The rabbi pointed. Of course, said Shmuel. Are you sure? Asked the rabbi. Sure, I'm sure, said Shmuel. Well, said the rabbi, I'm just as sure about the potatoes. On Hanukkah, that's what potatoes are for. I hate this book, I hate this book, I hate it. You are so wise, said Shmuel, and he rushed home. So this is 2 Jews looking at their feet. And we could do BUNION watch on this, too. The rabbi said, use them all, he said to Fagel. All of them? Is he sure? Asked Fagel. Are these... This is cute. So then, of course, Shmuel, kind of remembering what he was told, saying, are these the rabbi's feet? Shmuel pointed. What? Cried Fagel. Shmuel, where's your head? Right here, he tapped it. Don't ask silly questions. Let's just do what the rabbi said. So, Fagel, hold on. Fagel grated all the potatoes down to the very last one. Look, here she is. Yeah. I know it's sexist, but isn't it nice to see a woman do this? Anywho, don't tell her, missus. Then she clutched her head. Oh, yeah, with all these potatoes. How many eggs should I use? Said Shmuel. Oh, go ask the rabbi. I think we know where this is going. All right. He raced over in 2 snaps of a chicken's beak. I know that's not a chicken. Rabbi, help! How many eggs should Fagel use for the latkes? The rabbi thought for a moment. His stomach rumbled. Use all the eggs you got. Shmuel scratched his head. Are you sure? Is this my nose? The rabbi pointed to his nose. Of course, said Shmuel. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. Well, I'm just as sure about the eggs. On Hanukkah, that's what eggs are for. That's what eggs are for. So Shmuel ran back home. Use all our eggs. What? Cried Fagel. Is he sure? Shmuel points. Is this the rabbi's nose? What, have you lost your head? Shmuel felt it. No, it's right here. Let's start cracking eggs. Exactly. So they're talking, they're doing. So Fagel cracked all the eggs down to the very last one. Get this thing up there. That's better. Done, and then she groaned, oi, 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 but how many onions should I use? Well, I think, yes, there it is. I'll find out. Shmuel ran to the rabbi's house in 2 flicks of a mule's ear. Flick, flick, yeah, hee-haw. How much more of this? Okay, onions! The rabbi tugged his beard. Tug, tug. His stomach grumbled. Rumble, rumble. Use all the onions you got. Shmuel's eyes bulged. Are you sure? Is this my head? The rabbi pointed. Of course, exclaimed Shmuel. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. Well, I'm just as sure about the onions like Hanukkah. That's what onions are for. Shmuel ran home. The rabbi says, use them all. Oh, my goodness, Fagel threw her hands in the air. Is he sure? Is this the rabbi's head? Shmuel pointed to his own head. What? Cried Fagel. My husband doesn't even know his own head anymore. What's next? Onions, exclaimed Shmuel. Don't you remember? Let's start chopping, because there's only 32 chopping days before Hanukkah. So Fagel started chopping. She chopped and chopped. Look, she's got the crying tears of the onion cutting right there. Then she fried up the latkes, up to her elbows, up to her armpits, up to her earlobes, and each latke was a crispy, golden masterpiece. And an act of murder. I know, potato, I know. Done! She wiped her hands on her apron. Then she held her head. Now what? Oi! We have too many latkes. If we eat all these latkes, we'll get belly aches up to our eyeballs. Shmuel nodded. So at this moment, you have a quandary. Where do you think Shmuel is going to go to get an answer to this? Yes, of course he's going to go to the friggin' rabbi. All right. He raced over in 2 shakes of a cow's tail. Shake, shake. Help! Rabbi, we have way too many latkes. No, the rabbi shook his head. There is no such thing as too many latkes. He held up his finger like a true sage. Just not enough mouths. Very wise, nodded Shmuel. But Fagel and I have only 1 mouth each. At least he knew this. Ah, the rabbi's stomach growled loudly. Oh, don't worry. I can help. I'll come to your house and bring my mouth with me. Yeah, that's kind of the Kim Kardashian autobiography, isn't it? But when they got to the house, the rabbi shook his head. I can't eat all these latkes. Not even if I stuff my mouth from now until the last night of Hanukkah. Oy, moaned Fagel. What will we do with all these way too many latkes? The rabbi stroked his beard. Stroke, stroke. There's only one answer. We need more mouths. More mouths? Shmuel felt around his face for more mouths. Okay, I got with it. This is fine. That is... Okay, I like that. The rabbi shook a finger at him. Shake, shake. Not our mouths. Go, invite the whole village. Quick, while the latkes are still hot. Tell everyone to bring one mouth each. On Hanukkah, that's what mouths are for. And so Shmuel did. The whole village rushed over to help solve the problem of too many latkes. And look here, look at that. Everybody having a good old happy fun time. Remember, this is before refrigeration and freezers and stuff. And did they help. On Hanukkah, that's what a village is for. There were just enough mouths and just enough latkes, down to the very last one. The end. Oh, I was kind of hoping for a little denouement there, or something along those lines. But all right, okay, it's cute. It's good. I'll give this like a B-. It's like Hanukkah in Helm, rather repetitive as these books go, by Linda Glaser with pretty pictures by Alexander Zolotic, the Latkes story. Oh, thank God it's over. I know, Potato. But let's take a look also. A note on Helm stories. Do you want to know how Helm came to be? Well, an angel had a sack of foolish souls to scatter around the world. But as luck would have it, the bag got too heavy, and all the souls spilled out into the small Eastern European village of Helm. While there is a real Polish town called Helm, the fictional Jewish town has become a beloved part of Jewish folklore. Stories that take place in this village of fools are full of silliness, but also sprinkled with a bit of wisdom. The first stories of Helm were written in Yiddish in the late 1880s. Since then, Jewish writers have continued to entertain readers with stories about the citizens of Helm, who are famous for their ridiculous problems and their often equally ridiculous solutions. And by the way, Linda Glaser has written over 30 children's books, including Hannah's Way and the Reading Rainbow featured book, Our Big Home, an Earth Poem. She also teaches reading and writing because who makes money off these books? Plus, award-winning illustrator Alexander Zolotic graduated from an art school in Belgrade. In illustration and animation, he lives in Serbia. He enjoys drinking iced coffee and eating homemade muffins with his wife and showing picture books to his baby daughter. All right, everybody, let's just take a moment and go, oh. Close enough. Anywho, I was just a little bit, wait a minute, this is why this book is bothering me. There's a logic, as Helm, there's a logic problem. But the book starts with, in Helm, this woman makes the best latkes, but she only makes a tiny batch. So if you're lucky, she serves you only one little latke. And here's the whole town coming to eat a latke. Fine. So then she loses the recipe. She can't think of it. The rabbi keeps telling them, use all of it, use all of it. But it doesn't occur to them that they're just two people or the rabbi is three people. They always have had everybody coming to the window for a delicious single latke. Why didn't it? No, I'm sorry. Way too many latkes has way too many potholes. You're right, Potato. This was not perhaps the best choice of a Hanukkah book. But you know what? We'll do another one next week, and maybe we'll both like that one a bit more. What do you say? I say anything that gets us away from... Oh, God. It's our Auschwitz. I know it's our Auschwitz. Anyway, we'll put this book away. You'll never see it again, God willing. But I hope all of you are getting your menorahs ready, getting yourselves ready. That's better. for the Hanukkah holiday, which is happening in a week or so. So remember, it's, and I always say this, it's the rare happy Jewish holiday. It's the one where we're not fasting, we're opposite of fasting, we're actually eating and enjoying. So we smile, we light candles, we light up the room, we teach children how to get addicted to gambling by playing the dreidel. It's a good thing. Look, here it is. Look, oh, thank you. Look, here, dreidel, 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 I made you out of wood, and when I try and spin you, I try to do it good, but the word should be well, because good is ungrammatical. And I'm on my sabbatical because it is Shabbos here in the Daverhood. So thank you to David for letting me do story time this week. For more about me, please go to my website, shalomdammit.com. Shalom, D-A-M-M-I-T. Shalom, dammit. Getting ready early with these things. Thank you. Oh, my brothers, what did they do to you? And we will be lighting this. Is this actually by the Dole Company? Oh, no, they're faking on it. This is a menorah. We're going to use this year. It's a menorah in the shape of a banana. So, kind of like the Dildora that we used last year. Anywho, we got candles. We're going to be doing this. And, beautiful candle. I don't know if these are gorgeous. And we even have our Hanukkah bear. So much fun. We're opening the box. Here it is. Let's take a look at this thing. Oh, good Lord. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, here is the Hanukkah menorah, which we're going to put candles in and light. Here's the shamash. This is where the candles are all going to go. And actually, these holes are bigger than I thought. That's what they said. So I thought they were little tiny things. You could really, really use this as a decent menorah. Check this out. Dave's darling and wonderful and beautiful wife is there, and she's opening the candle box. Let's pop. I know it's early. I know we're a week early. Stop it. Here. This is. We're going to try the shamash right in here. Banana nut. All right, we'll use the wax. We'll burn the bottom of it so it stays in. That's what they said. Twist that in a little bit. These are I'm a little worried about the length of these things. That's what she said.
Candles too.
Yeah, I don't think this is not gonna.
Give me the candles.
Yeah, there you go. So, all right, we tried. We have 3
sets of candles, maybe a different set.
Havenu shalom aleichem. Havenu shalom. I'm Zamfirowitz, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to put the menorah back in the menorah box. We're going to reappropriate it next week on the you're going to put the menorah back in the menorah box. I am Rabbi Sol. ShalomDammit.com is my website to watch my stage show, to watch the TV show that I did, 10 episodes of that, Shalom Dammit, Rabbi Sol Solomon's Peace, Love, and Acid Reflux Hour. Brilliant if I say so myself, and I do. Plus all my rabbinical reflections, ShalomDammit.com. So, right here.
The instructions on the
There's instructions. Right? Take out banana, put candles in. That's where
It says not the can.
Use an open flame to soften the base of each candle before placing it in the menorah. This is very sensible stuff. More sensible than the folks of Helm, if you can believe that. Anyway, let me bring the program back to the host of the program, the producer, Dave Lefkowitz. He is going to do some more stuff. I don't know what the hell he's going to do. I think he's got a poem to read. He's going to show you his foot so you can look at his bunions. How come he gets to show you his bunions? I don't get to show you my prostate. Not fair. Anywho, it's been a fair time sharing story time with all of you. Shalom. Till next time.
Tell me a story, tell me a story, tell me a story. Remember what you said. You promised me, you said you would. You gotta give in, so I'll be good. Tell me a story, then I'll go to bed.
Hello. It is about 25 after 11 Eastern Time in the Daverhood, and you're watching the Dave's Gone By Facebookio, Podcastio, Programmio of the stream with me, Dave Lefkowitz, my amazing and wonderful wife, and, of course, the one and only Rabbi Sol Solomon of blessed memory. So we still, as Rabbi Sol was saying, we have a couple more things to do on this program before we get out and start our day going spaziering at local fairs and ceramics craft places and stuff like that. So before all of that, what do we want to do? I am going to do Bunyan Watch. This is important to me today. I don't know if we have a Bunyan Watch theme anymore because that was on my old computer. And I do. I do have a different theme for Bunyan Watch. I started doing it 3.5 years ago. I tell this every time because I was teaching and I had a lot of classes on that first day. And it was a relatively new shoe that I was wearing. And it was rubbing just along the top of my big toe, near my bunion on my left foot. And it was really, I had a scab there. It hurt for days. Not that you need to know this, but I thought I'd share so much I've shared my phlegm with you. I've shared stories of my hernia. So why not share my bunion? Well, this week, for whatever reason, well, you know what? Let me play the Bunyan theme music. And by the way, this whole show has been about serendipity, right? Because I talk about something, and there it is on our Facebook feed when we're talking about Tom Stoppard and some other, and it was 1010, it was 1010 wins and 1010 episode number. Happened just again. I just played our regular Bunyan song, and there he is, long and bunions, big as onions. What were we just reading 5 minutes ago? This woman peeling a kitchen full of onions. So it's an amazing life, isn't it, folks? So here's the deal. I don't know whether it was I walked a certain way or just was at the gym and twisted or did something weird to my foot a few days ago. And it just, I came down on it wrong, I think. And I felt the bunion in a way that I haven't felt in years, anything like that. So it seems fine again, and everything's all good again. But let me take a look. Let me share with you. Let me show you my bunion, just so you can see. Here, ladies and gentlemen, drum roll. You can see this on my notes and everything. This is my left foot bunion. Whoa. Thank you. Look, see, it's not as red as it usually is on that. There it is. Oh, look at that puppy. Look, it actually looks worse on camera than it does in person. But this is the bunion on my left foot, which is smaller than the bunion on my right foot. But it does it look different to you? Does it look inflamed or sprained or swollen or anything like that?
I thought you were going to show them your new shoes.
Oh, those are downstairs. They're in a closet. Yeah. No. So I am hoping that this was just an anomalous event involving my left foot, and I don't mean to film my left foot where he didn't even have workable bunions, but so far so good in terms of the bunionation of my extremities. So happy thing. Oh, really?
What?
Yeah. Look, the crowd is clamoring to see my right foot bunion.
No, don't give everything it wants to.
Don't be next week.
Yes,
you have to tune in next time, and I will also share my right foot. I'll make you wait. Oh, I will. No. Send your prayers to the wind. They're not hitting me. You can wait. It'll be a special Hanukkah treat for my right foot bunion, which is closer to an onion. It's a gan samacha onion, or bunion, if you will, and you will. So, ladies and gentlemen, Bunyan Watch for this Saturday, December 6th, our 1010th episode of the Dave's Gone By show. Oh, we've done so much. Oh, we've had so much enjoyable fun. Anything we want to talk about? Should I do a Dave's Big Dictionary? Because we've got about half an hour left. Let me try. Let me see something, and this will really challenge me, because a lot of times we do this earlier in the show. And when we do Dave's Big Dictionary, I'll look for a word and then I'll have time to think about it. I'll have time, I won't really start writing or making any notes, but it'll be in the back of my mind or even the front, so that by the time an hour later I'm talking and going extemporaneous, I have something. But this time I'm really going to challenge it. So we're going to look up Merriam-Webster's word of the day, because they do this to kind of promote dictionaries and stuff. They come up with a word every single day. They give a definition, they give usage. And so I have no idea what that word is until I hit this button here on Google. Here it goes. Whoa!
What is it?
Good word. It's a sensible word. In fact, it's the word sensibility on Dave's Big Dictionary. Extra, tell all about it. It's Dave's Big Dictionary. All right, here we go. So, Dave's Big Dictionary, the word, I'm going to need my glasses for this. Their word of the day, the noun, sensibility, a formal word, often used in its plural form to refer to someone's personal or cultural approach to what they encounter, as in, the speaker made sure to tailor his speech to the sensibilities of the audience. Sensibility can also be used for the kinds of feelings a person tends to have in general, as well as for the ability to feel and understand emotions. For example, many older cartoons feel out of line with modern sensibilities. Okay, let's see. Did you know? I'm also buying time or kind of stalling here before I have to actually talk about it. The meanings of sensibility run the gamut from mere sensation to excessive sentimentality. But we're here to help you make sense. In between is a capacity for delicate appreciation, a sense often pluralized. I'll just get to it. In Jane Austen's books, sensibility is mostly an admirable quality she attributes to or finds lacking in her characters. For example, he had a sensibility to what was amiable and lovely. That's a line from Persuasion. And of course, her book, Sense and Sensibility, she starts out by ascribing to Marianne sensibleness on one hand, but an excess of sensibility on the other. Her sorrows, her joys could have no moderation. She was everything but prudent. So, all right, that's all word of the day from Merriam-Webster. Now my job, and I choose to accept it, is to talk about sensibility. All right. Okay. First of all, it does bring up, Jane Austen is the first thing I think of. And I know I've read Sense and Sensibility, and I don't remember a bloody word of it. I know I tried it. This will take me on a Jane Austen track. But our teacher in junior high school, maybe first year of high school, made us read Pride and Prejudice, which the girls all loved, and the men were just, myself included, were like, I don't care, I don't want to know. She spent 2.5 months on this book. Of course, I read it much, much later in life and realized how brilliant it is. But I'm still not an Austenite. There's actually, I swear to gosh, it was either in a library or a bookstore we went to. There's an entire display of new Jane Austen-related books. One to write in her voice.
It's from Boston.
Oh, it was Boston?
We were in the bookstore, try that, yeah.
Trying bookstore in Boston. And it's just like, this is in her style. This is the Jane Austen book club, and it's a mystery thing. It's like, okay. Anything that gets people to read in the modern age, God bless them. And then I did read Persuasion, and I quite liked it. But I got to read, I guess, again, Sense and Sensibility. Just to see, I couldn't get through Northanger Abbey either. It's just not necessarily my thing even at this age. But I know it's a book I should read, Sense and Sensibility, because it would be the sensible thing for an intelligent, relatively literate person to do. But as someone who's an actor and someone who's a podcaster and a writer, I'm always I'm always kind of either forced or wanting to think about what my sensibilities are. Where do I draw the line of pushing comedy, making jokes, saying things to people in the right or wrong situations, and sort of like always just always having to kind of.
I think your toenail is bruised. Let me see.
Oh no, not my toenail.
I think this is your toenail, and this one is bruised.
I think they're just cold at the moment. What about this one? Ugh. We're back to like post BUNION watching. Or it's just cold. But what are my sensibilities? I think performers and writers are constantly gauging that, maybe even more than quote unquote regular people. And maybe that's just me being egotistical and narcissistic about being a writer, creative person, and performer. But I think we do that more. We're always kind of gauging and deciding what do we think about this and why, with every single moment. And, what am I thinking about? Why am I thinking about this? I shouldn't be thinking about it, but I'm thinking about that. Why am I doing this? Why aren't I doing that? If I did that, I'd be... So my sensibility is this, I guess being a neurotic older Jew from New York, I have a neurotic sensibility. You've mentioned that, both. What kind of sigh? This is the... Yeah, sometimes I get up with this feeling. But it's this, my personal sensibility is finding the humor in everything, but also worried that, that Mel Brooks thing of hope for the best, but expect the worst, right? And kind of wishing on some level my sensibility were different. I'd be a different person, a more brave person, a more active or dynamic person. But at the same time, it makes me what I am. The jokes that I write, the snarkiness that I have, the ability to appreciate humor and art on a certain level that is maybe perhaps a little step higher than a lot of other people in the world, comes from this defective, demented sensibility that I have. So, it's a plus and a minus, or at least that's my sense of my current sensibility, if you will. But I'm going to come to my senses and say that was this week's Dave's Big Dick Dictionary here on Dave's Gone By. It is about 25 minutes to noon Eastern Time, and we still have our Colorado Limerick of the Dam to do. But before we get to that, let us not forget to credit the folks who've been on this program. We consider them alumni, more than alumni, they're friends. They're folks who have given their time and attention and energy to be guests on this very long-running show. So whether they appeared many, many years ago, or like today, if we have our brand new friend of the Daverhood, Bill Boggs, remember to go to Bill Boggs' Facebook feed and find out about his books. And plus, he mentioned he's got an archive of all these interviews that he's done and podcasts and things. By gosh, check out Bill Boggs, Boggs. And we thank him so much for having such a delightful chat with Rabbi Sol Solomon, of course, at shalomdammit.com. He mentioned that before. He also has a Twitter feed at Rabbi Sol Solomon. But those are just from today. How about folks who've been on this show a while ago, either a long while ago or just a few weeks? What are they up to? Why, I'm so glad you asked. Help us, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Can we say on that? Yeah. Oh, hold on, let me lower it. Okay. Speaking of one of our friends in the Daverhood, my longtime friend and theater cricket colleague from Florida, Marie, wrote in. My wife is finding the... you have to understand, I personally don't get to read your comments and your thumbs up and things during the show. My wife kind of checks our feed on Facebook and on her laptop and stuff. But I don't really get to see it until she tells me, or I check it later after the show. But I do thank everybody who writes in, who sends me a mail davesgoneby@aol.com. That's our old email address. Yes, AOL, right? davesgoneby@aol.com. Plus, you can message me on Facebook, as Marie has done. So what does Marie have to say?
I think she wanted a longer introduction about Bill Boggs.
Oh, sorry. Actually, I think Rabbi Sol gave him a pretty good intro when the interview was done, but I lost my paperwork for the Bill Boggs stuff. Yeah.
She said, I wish there would have been more of an introduction to Bill Boggs.
Okay.
And I gave a caring.
Sorry, Marie. We do try to really build up and give a lot of creds and info about our guests, especially someone who's had such a long career as Bill.
Look, your cousin Jody has an art thing. People in Brooklyn, you could give a shout out to her.
I've been trying to get her on the show. I have a cousin Jody. Where is it? Lost it.
Here, I'll take it. Yeah.
But my cousin Jody Levine Munch, or Munch, is she and Fred, her husband, have had a really horrendous year. They've lost on both sides of the family. They've lost a bunch, including my cousins Shelley and Michael, and my cousin David. So Jody apparently, though, is powering through all these losses in her family, to do. Brooklyn friends, please join us today for a festive holiday artist reception at Patmos. I'm showing my handmade bugs and birds, along with work from other artists. So yes, she's good. I mean, Jody was actually on the air many, many times with Martha Stewart, because she worked for Martha Stewart magazine, and was a right-hand person for Martha Stewart, and did crafts.
About her dad.
Look at those photos. That's amazing. That's when Shelley was a lot younger than I am, probably half my age. Anyway, but so Jody, if you're watching, or Fred, your husband is watching, we want to get you on the show. Been trying, but I understand this year has been a trying year for you guys. So people who have been on this program over the past bunch of years, and I'm talking more than 24 years now, Nancy Redmond. Nancy is in a play called Bum Bum. That is at the Here Arts Center, running now through the middle of December. You have one more week to see Bum Bum. Bum Bum, you can dig a bum bum. And then Danny Burston, fine actor. He is on Broadway now in Marjorie.
Limerick of the Damned?
That's after our friends of the Daverhood, yeah. Danny Burston is in Marjorie Prime. It's a Broadway show done by the Second Stage Theater Company at the Broadway theater that they own, the Helen Hayes Theater. And Marjorie Prime played off-Broadway like 10 years ago. They brought it back. It's supposed to be a very, very good play. Paul Williams, legendary writer, composer, performer. Paul Williams is being celebrated at Lyrics and Lyricists at the 92nd Street Y. That is happening today, tomorrow, and Monday. So 3 shots. I don't know if he'll be performing, but other people will be performing Paul Williams's songs at 92Y. So go see that if you're in New York. And then tomorrow, Sunday, December 7th, 5:30 in the afternoon at Symphony Space, not too far from 92Y, up on West 95th Street. It's Resistance Theater, a bunch of playwrights and writers doing songs, poems, thoughts, little anecdotes, and among them our good friend Richard Dresser. So check that out. That is tomorrow night, 5:30 at Symphony Space, a piece called Resistance Theater. I guess it's a piece de resistance. Thank you very much. On Monday, K.T. Sullivan, Jeff Harner, and a bunch of other folks are in a cabaret show called We Love the Winter Weather. That is at Birdland, of course. And then on Tuesday through, Tuesday and Wednesday of this week, Mark Nadler is co-hosting a Christmas show with Stephanie Pope at the Laurie Beachman Theater in the West Bank Cafe. Then on December 11th, this Thursday, Anne Halliday, our guest last week, is in a show called Extra Credit that's being done at the Magnet Theater in Midtown. And, of course, all our usuals. Evan Seplow edits, and he founded StageBuddy.com. Vicky Quaddy, we mentioned her before. David Sheward is a theater critic who writes for TotalTheater.com. David Kenny, he hosts the radio show Everything Old is New Again on WBAI New York Radio Sunday nights. Darren DeVivo, he was on WFUV all those years ago. Now he's on WKZE Radio doing his show Noises from the Valley, Friday nights from 7 to 11 p.m. And remember, Darren is still doing 2 podcasts about Beatles music. Eva Heineman is the producer and host of the theater review show High Drama, which you can watch on YouTube and Facebook. Charlie Gross and Leslie Hoban Blake, they host the theater review show Two on the Aisle. And remember that longtime veteran radio broadcaster Carol Miller is on New York's Q104.3 FM weeknights from 7 until midnight. And those, my friends, are the friends of the Daverhood. Well, there's a quote, and I'm going to get it wrong now, but there's a quote I use in class when we have our quote of the day, and it was by, not Jean Genet, I already forget who wrote it, but it says, it might have been Yeats, but out of the quarrel with each other, we make arguments or essays. Out of the arguments within ourselves, we make poetry. I think that was Yeats. Might have been. He had a fever treatment, a Yeats infection. Thank you very much. But poetry is the order of the day, our last order of the day on this episode of the Dave's Gone By show, because for years now, I have been celebrating the wonderful state of Colorado with a poem every single week, a poem about a different town in Colorado as part of a limerick, which means I got to rhyme the darn thing 3 times in order for the poem to go, and try and make the poem amusing, and generally try to make it evil and disgusting because it's a limerick. So how did I, this week, oh my God, I thought it would be easy. It killed me, folks. This one just took like all the life out of me, but I did it. I made a poem about the town in Colorado of Chattanooga. There is a Chattanooga, Colorado, and yes, I have an evil, really vile Colorado limerick of the damned for ya.
A limerick is a comic verse of 5 lines, in which lines 1, 2, and 5 will end with words that rhyme, and likewise verses 3 and 4 also end with words that rhyme. So this is a limerick. Rocky Mountain,
Yes, thank you, Christine Lavin. Colorado, Rago, it is for our limerick this week from Chattanooga, Colorado. And actually, for once, I've been doing all these ghost towns and places that are barely on the map. This at least has a real history behind it. It is a ghost town in southwestern Colorado, about 7 miles north of Silverton. Remember we used to go to that diner, the Silverton Diner?
Oh, yeah.
Which wasn't in Silverton at all. It was in Fort Collins, but still.
Yeah, that was weird.
Anyway, in the late 1880s, a mining camp named Sweetville was settled, and then there was another camp nearby named Chattanooga. And then the 2 camps merged under the name Chattanooga. The postmaster ended up naming it after his hometown in Tennessee. So it's not really a sister town, but it is connected in some ways to the more well-known Chattanooga. Because of its lower elevation, Chattanooga was used as a supply center for other mining towns. By 1883, the town had 75 structures, including 2 general stores, a restaurant, and a hardware store, and really got even bigger after that. But after a few fat years, mining declined, and then they had a silver rush that didn't pan out. Then they had an avalanche in 1889, and then they had a fire in 1892 that burned half the place down. Still, the town actually did try to make a mining and a town comeback, but by 1910, the place was deserted. And today, it's still there. You still have a couple of remaining structures, but nothing much of the town. But the amazing thing about it is it's this incredibly scenic, beautiful place with water and mountains. It's gorgeous. If they start building there, they're going to be $1 million condos immediately because it's just gorgeous. And yet it's just sitting there. Anywho, that is what's left of Chattanooga in Colorado. And now that I've talked it up quite a bit, I'm going to bring it down with a limerick, our Colorado limerick of the damned. Ahem, ahem. This fat chick from old Chattanooga, whose ass could be on a beluga, has titties so massive that even the passive will see them and holler, "Auga!" I worked really hard on that. That took time and energy, and yet I am so proud. If you are not proud of that, please write to me, davesgoneby@aol.com. DAVESGONE, davesgoneby@aol.com. I do try and read every email that I get. Also, all the messages that you post on the Dave's Gone By Facebook page, whether you're writing to me under an old show or messaging me directly. Love to hear from you, and I thank you very much for that. We do have a Twitter feed, Radio Dave 2, Radio Dave and the number 2, and we have an Instagram page, David.Lefkowitz. We have a Blue Sky account, Dave's Gone By, but really it's all the same stuff. The stuff that you can get at davesgoneby.com and also on this Facebook page. And remember that we have our archives also at a channel at archive.org and an audio channel at castbox.fm. Well, we've packed a lot in to this 3 hours. This almost reminds me of one of our early older shows. In an hour, we had like 7 segments.
That's because you want to go and get your cookies.
I want my stuff.
And see the jewelry. And our local library has never had an art pop-up. Since we've been here, it's the first one, I think.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's the first one we saw, but I'd like to go there first.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the newest thing. Everything else is recyclical.
Because usually we're biblio-givers, but today we'll be bibliotakers. I was doing a Spanish riff that had nothing to do with anything. Don't even honor or glorify that with the ba-dum-bum. No. But anywho, yes, it has been so much fun doing this episode of the show. We thank one more time Bill Boggs for guesting with us on the show. And yes, Rabbi Sol will send him the final, version that aired, because he did ask for the interview, and we are going to share it with him because it was so great. And then thank you to all of you for watching and enjoying the show. Thank you to my darling, wonderful, and amazing and adorable Mrs. For doing what she does and every single day of the year. Well, is there anything we haven't? Oh, she found something on the interwebs. Van Leeuwen. Wait a minute. This looks disgusting.
Yes,
this looks like a cyst.
It looks like macaroni and cheese that's gone bad.
But this is ice cream.
And what is it?
You know that brand that I've always wanted to try when we go to Mom's? It's Van Leeuwen's.
And they have Rugelman, right?
Rugelach ice cream collaboration with breads. And we're absolutely, at least Time Out New York is absolutely here for it.
Well, we like that company. They have the lemon one we like, right?
No, that's Strauss's.
Oh.
No, Van Leeuwen is the other one that hasn't gone on sale yet, so I haven't bought it.
No, I think we've had one of them.
Did we try the Van Leeuwen's?
No, we gotta try that.
We gotta try, well, if they have this. And I think this is also an answer to Ben and Jerry and their anti-Israel stuff. These guys are doing, Rugelach.
Also, it's organic. Let's see. Where do you buy it?
Is it small batch in Brooklyn or something?
No, they're also giving a hot chocolate giveaway at Rockefeller Center.
Oh. Can we go to Rockefeller
I'll
Center?
make you a cocoa if you want right now. We have the cocoa.
I know, with the mix,
Yeah.
I know.
We have the cocoa pods.
Shimmy, cocoa. Actually, I had, speaking of the tummy button, I did have cocoa this week. They had in the building where I teach.
Oh, cocoa?
They were giving to students and faculty, if you showed your card, cocoa, coffee, sweet and iced tea. Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, it was very, very nice. So I really appreciate that. That was nice of them. So, anything else?
Cold weather.
Yeah.
I say let's go to the pop-up time.
Yeah, all right. Whoa. I better cross my legs from that popping up, but you know.
To join you in here. We can't use these because the banana
won't hold.
Banana
Too
menorah
big.
says less than, the candles have to be shorter. It gives you
Yeah,
like a...
they fall. So we can try that other batch
We
that
have 3 sets. These are one of 3, yeah?
Yeah. Oh boy, I'm lit. Get it? And even though the show is waning while these are waxing, yeah. Anywho, we're going to table this episode. Well, it's almost 12 o'clock, isn't it? So time to leave the Daverhood for this week. Thank you for joining us for our 1010th episode of the Dave's Gone By show. Please be with us next Saturday for the 1011th episode of Dave's Gone By. We're pretty sure we know who the guest is, and it should be someone really, really cool and fun. But we can't say it yet, but we're going to find out and be sure of it in a day or two. But whoever the guest is, or even if we don't have a guest, we'll be here in the Daverhood with another episode of the Dave's Gone By show. Until then, have a fine week. Stay warm, stay dry, have fun, get your menorahs ready, and we'll see you soon. Wait, I gotta play my music. Here it is.
Days gone by, days gone by, days gone by.
You know, there are other shows and other podcasts on the interwebs, but I don't think they can hold a candle to this one. Okay.